Okay, right. People speak now.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. I had a Windows update recently, right? And basically, it messed up my TeamSpeak sound settings.
Right. People speak now.
And now I can hear myself.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay, there we go.
it's echoes. There we go. So yeah, it messed up all my settings, and it's obviously messed up my OBS as well. But now it's back on track. Obviously, people missed the recap, but if they're watching the stream, the chances are they already know what's roughly going on. So yeah, welcome stream for a second time. You guys camped in the round room where you found Dern and his other hobgoblin bodyguards, and a goblin shaman as well. And basically you've pretty much completed the level. So everyone declared that the level was complete, and that's pretty much it. You left it after a long rest, so everyone gets a long rest before you planned originally, at least, on descending the vines, the thick vines that go down into this round circular hole that's in the middle of this room, down into where this sort of vaguely violet glow comes from, which you've previously found to be emanating from the fungus that seems to have been cultivated by the goblins and hobgoblins. One thing of note, which I might as well mention, is that you also rescued a prisoner that wasn't a goblin and who you didn't torture, called Urky Timbers.
Yay!
I return.
Hey, Awas. So yes, you rescued Urky Timbers, and he basically has joined the group. He knows a little bit, a bit of healing, a little bit of magic. He's basically a gnome and has been in prison down here for a while. You guys were kind enough to let him just get a bit of a breath of fresh air, look at the sky, before he agreed to accompany you down to help get to the bottom of what's been going on in here. He knew a little bit of information about Bellic, the spellcaster, about the other adventurers, the one that you found dead with the rats. The other 3 have been sent down here. And you're going to continue on your little search to see if you can find the source of the apples and also the whereabouts of the adventurers. So, guys, what are you planning on doing now? You finished a long rest. What's the plan?
I am wondering how deep this pit is.
Well, you look down the pit and you can see down at the bottom that there is a ground. So it's still quite bright there. The fungus has been lodged into the side where all the vines are. So the whole pit is illuminated with this fungus, this lavenderish glow. As far as how deep it is, you'd say that it's well over 60 feet deep. So you don't want to fall, but the vines are very strong. There's lots of handholds. They're not spiky. It's clear that this... well, it was clear to Adrik anyway last session that this shaft used to have a spiral staircase going down the middle of it, which has long since collapsed and gone. And these vines are obviously the way that the goblins, the hobgoblins, and possibly even Bellic himself has been travelling up and down from this level to the level below, where his grove is, as it's been called.
Cool. I'm just thinking the prisoners probably were not then thrown over the side. They were encouraged to climb down.
Well, if they were thrown in there, if they didn't manage to get a handhold, you think you might find some dead adventurers at the bottom, because that's a long fall. You don't rate your chances.
If they were prisoners, it's quite possible that they were lowered down.
Yeah.
Do we see any pools of dried blood at the bottom of the well?
From this distance, it's well over 60 feet distant. You can't see anything. I mean, you can see what looks like vegetation down there.
They're probably fine then. The vegetation would have broke the fall.
What's goblin for housekeeping?
I don't know. Does anybody know goblin? In fact, no, Urky does. Yeah. Why?
Yeah, Urky does.
He tells you the name. He tells you the word for housekeeping. Although he has to think quite long and hard about this, because a concept such as this, he has to try and figure a way of putting it in goblin, which it's alien to them. It'd be like soap. There is no goblin word for soap or bath or clean.
So more like tidying up?
No.
No?
House rearranger.
The closest you'd get is roughly translated. It'd be something along the lines of pointlessly rearrange your stuff. That would be that's roughly what it would translate as. Okay, guys.
So,
what you doing?
should I lead the way and climb down just to make sure it's safe?
Yeah, I'm ready to go if Urki and everyone else is.
Cool. Yeah. Okay then.
I take it looks relatively easy to climb down.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. You've all got arms and legs. You're absolutely fine. Okay, you start to descend the vines. There's plenty of handholds. It's pretty easy going. They've clearly grown here for decades. They're really firmly attached. And it's pretty straightforward to climb down. As you climb down, and you're counting 10, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet. You're getting closer and closer to the bottom. And you can see a little bit more of the room at the bottom. It's got vegetation, but it's more like small plants and shrubs. They look a bit odd. And as you get closer and you realize that the ground in total would have been 80 feet deep. And you're about 20 feet away from the ground, so you're not quite climbed out the pit yet. You notice that it looks a bit odd. Does anyone give me a nature roll, please? And you're still climbing down at the moment.
Absolutely.
About to say, that's something for our resident druid.
One would hope that it was something for the resident druid that he could do quite easily. Okay, that's perfectly good enough. You notice that the plants they're not sick as such, but they're not. They look like they're a bit sunlight starved. Yes, they're getting enough to grow. They're getting enough to produce pollen and leaves and everything like that. But it's still not quite the same as proper daylight. So they are suffering a little bit, but they are still growing. So you're actually quite impressed that this fungus is producing enough light for them to grow. So it's understandable that they're looking a little bit pale, a little bit paler than they normally do. As you continue to climb down, you notice there's a large room. I'm going to move you into this room by doing this.
Map change.
The screen has gone dark for me. I can't see. I've been blinded by the bright fungus.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. My eyes are adjusting.
There we go. There we go. Can everybody see that room?
Oh my god, it's a large
Not yet.
square room. A corner!
Oh, there it is.
Oh yeah, I see it.
There's a corner!
There's a corner.
That's a corner.
Yeah, there's a corner. I mean, you know, let me know. Is anybody still loading or can only see black?
Okay, there it's loaded. Okay, it was blurry for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
Okie dokie.
this is not a very well-defined room.
Microphone activated.
Okie dokie. As you lower yourself down, you poke your heads around the side. It's a bit awkward, but you manage to do it. And you see that this is quite a large room, as you can see. And it's got a lot of plants growing. They're kind of haphazard, but clearly they've been planted intentionally. And you can see two skeletons in robes tilling the soil, moving compost. One of them's even got a wheelbarrow, and it's kind of like moving sluggishly around. And the other one's just kind of... And they make no notice of you guys at all. They clearly got orders to till.
That could be really ususeful for carrying our loot out of here.
Look,
What,
Adrik.
a wheelbarrow. How are you going to get it into the
These
pit?
plants have grown into skeletons.
Getting it out of the pit's really easy. Have
we
somebody
can't-
climb up,
we can't have that
tie
now.
a rope at the top and drop it down.
So you guys gently and carefully lower yourself down to the ground. The skeletons completely ignore you. One of them looks up and then looks back down again and just carries on with its task. Clearly, whatever commands they've been given don't involve randomly killing people that appear.
I still didn't like this. They got to go.
I'm gonna walk over here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna poke this one.
Okay, you poke it, and it sort of staggers a little as you poke it, and just carries on tilling the soil. It's tilling the same location too much, but otherwise it's just kind of plodding along, and then it moves on. and is tilling the soil, and this
Yeah,
one's got a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, Adrik, being from what I know of this character, a fervent follower of Paylor, is gonna give this thing its last rites and say to the rest of the group, "Stand back. This one needs to be put out of its misery." And I'm just gonna fucking smack it with a warhammer.
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
Cool. I was thinking you'd say that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. You know.
As you're saying this,
that's
I will
pretty
ready
bad.
my bow, but
Okie dokie.
It's just got like a plow, right?
Yeah, it's literally just
Yeah,
got a hoe type thing.
I don't expect much resistance.
Some-
from
Because
this kind
farm
of thing.
equipment's not dangerous at all.
No, of course
I mean, it
not.
can be in large numbers, but let's do it. Though.
Okay, you swing at this thing, and it kind of staggers a bit because it's shit at the last minute, and somehow you manage to miss it still.
Oh, you still got some fight in you, do you?
Okay, right. Let's do this properly, shall we?
Oh, they actually will fight as well. Okay.
Oh yeah, you. There we go. There's some initiativiness.
Yeah, these are undead. I don't think Adrik would really be having this.
No, I think he's probably gonna destroy them.
This is not the first time we
I
fought
think,
skeletons.
I suspect
in this
you've
place,
got that
so.
bit right. Although your
Yeah.
Foxxy Adrik Scottish voice needs.
I can only do what I can do. You're lucky you're getting a voice at all here. Just
No, we appreciate it. We do appreciate it. You know, we understand that.
He's from a different part of Scotland. I don't know where he was from initially, but you know.
England, I think.
Oh no, I don't. Anyway.
surprise! That's
Right.
the twist.
Just realizing I need to roll initiative.
Yeah, even the person that's not here has rolled initiative.
Damn.
So we've got 3 14s and 2 people that add up to 14.
That's a lot of underage people.
What?
I mean, what?
That's not a particularly aware skeleton.
We have a 3-year-old skeleton, apparently.
To be perfectly honest, in this day and age, 14 is not underaged.
I mean, you have a point,
God.
but I still.
14
You
is
know.
if you're not married, you've probably something wrong with you. Or your dad is very aggressive to any suitors. Or you're incredibly ugly.
I mean, you know, even ugly people gotta, find love somewhere.
With other ugly people, normally.
Yeah.
It's my fate.
Shit,
Right.
we've
Okay,
got to reel.
Adrik. Yes, the skeleton clearly didn't like the fact that you tried to smack it one, and it grabs its hoe and it lifts it up, and it's clearly now aggressive. But you know, it's a bit slow to react, so you're next. Go for it.
Yeah, none of these things deserve magical shit, and I don't think Sacred Flame's any good. So yeah, just go for another smack.
You're gonna smack it one. Go on,
Yeah.
smack it one.
Yeah,
I dare
come
you.
on. That's shit damage, but maybe a 15 hits.
A 15 definitely hits.
I am almost tempted to use a channel divinity, like a turn undead.
It's
something.
fine. I mean, your blunt weapon, as you found in the past, your blunt weapon is far more effective against these foolish bony creatures than other kinds of attacks. So yes, you do more damage than you expected with such a feeble damage roll.
I think we would do well to save our resources for later. We know there's a
Yeah.
spellcaster down here, and now there are undead ploughing underground fields. Like, there's probably more when this comes.
Also, since they're under orders, I'm going to make an assumption that that said spellcaster might at least know some necromancy on the side.
It certainly
if
would be
not
logical.
full-time.
Okay, is that what you're going to do, Adrik?
What do clerics do with bonus actions?
Not a huge amount, really.
Yeah, I will try and figure out more about the character, and that'll be the end of my turn.
Scream in its face.
Okay.
Ah!
Callie has a dagger and has various eldritchy things, so I'm going to say...
It's a warlock. It's a
Yeah.
one-trick pony for a lot of combat situations.
It's It's
Like,
Eldritch
do
Blast.
you either Eldritch Blast or Eldritch Blast something else?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm going to Eldritch Blast this thing. I don't know about
Or-
you guys. You can't
wait,
control
wait.
this character.
You're forgetting the other option. Or, if things look a bit dicey, cast Haste and then Eldritch Blast.
Nowhere
Haste,
near high enough
Hex.
level.
Cast Hex.
Hex. Oh yeah, Hex. No. No, she's just gonna go Eldritch Blast and completely miss the one that is to the north. She was trying to blast it, but unfortunately doesn't manage to hit it. But apart from that, she stays back. Because
Just some wily skeletons.
yeah. Well, to be honest, they're really a bad attack roll so far. Niacin, what are you gonna do with your axes of missing?
My axes of missing.
Actually, then again, at the end of last session, you redeemed yourself. Your axes
I did
redeemed
bone
themselves.
in the end, in the head.
You've been getting so much practice, you see.
Yes. I'm gonna stay out of this. I'm not gonna get involved.
To be fair, it was only
Adrik
natural
asked me
after
to stand back,
throwing
I'm
and
staying back.
missing so many axes that you would eventually hit by fluke.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
I mean, it does happen eventually.
I
doesn't
said
it?
I've got this one. I don't mind if you take the other one.
I'll wait. I'll let you do your thing. I'm gonna stand back here and ready an action.
Paylor will remember you.
What
for
action
your
and under what
bravery.
circumstance?
Throw hand axe if this skeleton starts to get really aggressive and like runs here and tries to attack the group, then I'm gonna attack him.
Okay. The other skeleton that Adrik has been hitting at turned its shovel that it's been using, its little plow thing, which is just basically a
It's gone
shovel.
from a plough to a hoe to a shovel.
Well, I mean, plows and hoes are very similar, and shovels can be used for both. I mean, the skeleton doesn't know what it is, so give it a break.
It's a Swiss Army plow.
Look, the reason why I said shovel is because it's written as shovel in this
It's a
fucking
stick
sheet.
with metal on the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's a farming stick with metal on the end. Just give the skeleton a break, okay? And it's going to hit Adrik. No,
Nope.
it's not. It's
No,
going to.
it's not.
It's not. It probably doesn't even hit the armor, let alone actually penetrate. It basically attacks, does nothing. Daniel, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm going to move here.
Okay,
And I'm
Oh,
going to
God.
attack the one above me.
go on, give it a smack. No, unfortunately you miss.
And then I'm going to give it that.
Yeah, you definitely hit it, and that's bludgeoning damage. Holy fuck! You shatter it in one hit.
Splendid.
That was pretty impressive.
Thank you, Smacky.
You done with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The vegetation around you shifts slightly.
Oh no.
It shifts.
That's quite annoying.
Oh, hello.
Well.
Two.
Okay,
what
this
look,
I don't like.
Yeah, two.
Druid, what have you done?
Yeah, because bear in mind, these things that have just started moving previously looked completely the same as every other little bit of barky vegetation. They're kind of like shrubs that have just like twisted into roughly humanoid shapes. You didn't notice them before because they were still. They literally blend in completely. And this one at the bottom decides he doesn't like... who doesn't it like? I think this calls for the AI to decide. It doesn't like Orkon.
Dang
But a
it.
plant attacking the druid would be so funny.
You don't think these are normal plants, strangely enough.
That's why it's attacking me.
They look perhaps a bit blighted.
They
barely
do
hits me.
seem like they're made of twigs that have been
Perhaps-
blighted.
Perhaps needle.
No, not
blighter
needly.
roots.
They're not needly. They're just
Not
twiggy.
needly?
They're twiggy.
Twiggy blighter roots.
For fuck's sake, man. Orkon, does a 14 hit you?
Yes.
Okie dokie. 2 points of damage. I bet you're terrified.
Right.
Okay, it is your turn.
Orkon, did I leave you with any good berries?
I
When we
don't
last left?
remember.
Okay,
Oh,
don't worry about it then.
Wrong number.
I think after this, a good berry might be a good idea.
So I'm terrified, right?
No.
The end is nigh.
I mean, you've been attacked by a shrub.
Yes.
It's an angry
All right.
shrub.
Well,
A
I'm going
plant
to use
came to
my
life and
cutting.
tried to give you a
My
splinter.
cutting action to disengage here.
Okay.
I will move up here.
Mhm.
Take my step, and then I'm going to fire my bow at this little tree guy.
Cool, go for it.
Make sure I'm not normal, and...
It's about the size of Urki. It's like gnome/halfling size. It's a pretty small creature. You shoot at it, and you hit it square in whatever passes for its chest. And for 9 points of damage, it just basically shatters into little bits of splinters. You murderize it almost instantly.
Got to the root of the problem there.
Ow, that hurt.
Okay. The other twig blight, as they have been correctly identified by our Robs here.
I'm very sorry, but I can identify most of the monster manual without looking at it.
Absolutely. I don't blame you, to be honest. It's going to turn around and decide it doesn't like Callie.
It's going to try to envelop her with that.
Wow, that's
Are we still
nasty.
working off the assumption that Callie has false life up at all times?
Oh yes, we are assuming that false life is up at all times.
Which means that Callie would have 8 temp hit points.
So therefore does not take any damage. It hits the false life. Yep. Thank you for reminding me about that. Okay, Adrik, it's back to you.
Adric's going to hope that the trusty Warhammer does what it was designed to do and can beat up Mr. Plowy Boy. Oh, is that a hit? 13.
What do you think?
Yeah, he's
gone. He's gone. The skeleton is literally gone. So yeah.
For somebody who's talking about the monster manual, you know, skeletons almost certainly don't have armor, and they've already demonstrated they have a +2 to their dex. Therefore, it stands that a 13 is quite likely to hit.
It's been a while since I've played a game where skeletons could be a credible threat.
I don't know. I don't think they are. I don't think they are a credible threat, to be fair.
Hey, if you've seen, we've talked about it before, but Foxxy has been a part of a game where he got double critted by skeletons with scimitars, and they murderized him.
But then again, he did get double criticaled and regular hitted from a load of goblins with short bows in the last session, and instantly down from full health.
That was hilarious. He was the only person to take damage in the whole session.
It was hilarious, but that was his own fucking fault.
He's very good at running into a bad situation and taking a lot of damage.
Yeah. He's normally quite tanky, but I just got 2 fluke criticals and then just a regular hit, and yeah, I mean, that if I'd have rolled really high on the damage, it could have insta-killed him.
To be fair, you did roll almost.
I did. He was quite close to an insta-kill. But that's why I roll publicly, because it's kind of like, well, you know what? If you instantly die because you're like, stomp, 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 stomp. Oh, look! The enemy have moved around. Oh, thanks for telling us about your arrows. Okay, is Adrik going to do anything else after he's smashed that skeleton into pieces?
He'll use the rest of his movement to be like, another... fuck, I'm bad at Scottish accents. And another one for the... being dead. I'll pretend that was at least somewhat intimidating.
It wasn't even coherent.
No, it wasn't.
You're getting better at the Foxxy then, if you were not being coherent.
This is true. Callie decides that she doesn't like this twig blight and misses horribly. That's awful. Niacin.
Can I use a bonus action to try and speak to it in Druidic?
You can just speak to it in Druidic for free. I mean, it is a brief message, yes.
Oh, Robomelik.
Hello. Is that better?
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
Yeah,
you can say a short phrase for free as part of your movement in Druidic if you want.
Okay. In this case, I'll move here.
Mhm.
And I'll say to it, stand down, and we will not harm you.
Okay. Is that all you're gonna do?
In Druidic. Yeah.
That's a laugh.
Daniel.
Daniel, this is a plant.
What? The rest of my turn.
Oh, you said is that it? I said is that
all
it?
you were doing.
No, I meant that's all I wanted to say.
Oh, okay. What else are you doing then?
Oh, does it respond?
On its turn maybe. Bear in mind, players can
If it
talk
gets
backwards and forwards between themselves quite a lot, but you're not going to get that in the heat of battle. You're not going to get that between enemies.
Okay, have advantage to this.
No,
Roll
well,
another
I didn't
D20.
realize that was the case. So, yeah, then I'll attack it.
Okay, give us an attack roll then.
I was going to see if I could somehow get it to survive, but you know what? It's a blight. It's a blight on all plant life. I've seen this kind of shit in the forest before.
To be perfectly honest, you probably
deserves
have
death.
heard of these sorts of things, twisted things that probably aren't druidic in any way.
I mean, you could purify it. You could become a bushy boy again.
A bushy boy again? What? I don't even know what that means. Okay, you nearly shred it to pieces. It's looking a bit tatty. But it's still just about moving of its own volition.
So far, we've all forgotten that we have advantage on this.
Oh yeah.
We don't need it. It's
Give me a roll.
we
Give me a
don't really.
D20, Wiz, to see if you get a critical. No. Okay. So yeah, nearly killed it. Daniel.
All right, shall I just re-roll my attacks? Or
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's dead.
Mhm.
Oh wow! All my browser windows have just turned around and said "fuck off."
that happens to me, and it's always annoying.
It's just crashed immediately because it's being annoying, and all of those windows can't refresh. Damn it! Urgh. That means I have to close all of those character fucking windows. Although, for some bizarre reason, the stream window stayed up. So anyway, you completely destroy it.
leave nothing alive.
Leave nothing alive, did you say? There are no leaves on these things. I hate you.
We really are the
No, wait. If you
murdering
want,
party,
if you want back, if you want,
tree,
wait.
Oh,
You know,
God.
They're not trees.
these are really bad puns. You better twig it alone.
What?
Yeah, bad puns.
Twig it? What do you mean twig it alone? Does that even mean anything normally?
No, it doesn't. Now let's move on.
So you're just randomly picking a plant-related word and pretending it has an alternative meaning and inserting it randomly into a sentence?
Yes.
I think the lack of creativity here is really the root of the problem.
This
All right,
is
we've
true.
already
It's
done
really
the root
sapping
of
the
something.
mood.
It is sapping the mood. I'll accept that. Anything else you want to get it out your system? You know, you want to, or maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should just sort of branch out to other kinds of puns.
All
I think
right,
we've cultivated this long enough.
onwards
Fuck.
to mild
Oh,
adventure.
God.
Anyway, okay, right. So now that you've settled in this room, you realise that this is a very crude kind of fieldy, farmy type thing. There's various plants of different sorts being grown. The skeletons were crudely tending it in a really haphazard way. The walls are lined with that weird sort of purpley fungus that you've seen dotted around, but there's quite a lot of it here. It's all wedged into every crevice that you can see, and the light from that obviously is nourishing the plants enough for them to grow, but as Niacin mentioned or noticed earlier on before you fully entered the room, it's not the same as real sunlight, but it's enough for them to grow a little bit.
Are there any more plants that
Something
look like
like
these
that.
ones did?
There's lots of little shrubs here and there. Some of them have got leaves, some of them haven't. It's hard to tell. There's a lot of greenery in this room, and also things that haven't got leaves on them. So it's difficult to. I mean, you can go around and poke them if you want.
Can I inspect whatever it was that the skeletons were planting?
They weren't planting
Yeah.
anything. All they were doing is tilling the soil. They didn't have any
Oh,
plants,
okay.
so
Nice.
it looks like they may very well. I mean, skeletons, you all know, are pretty damn stupid. You know, they're not having a brain thing. But they obviously have been given something simple. You know, till this part of the soil or whatever. You know.
The vegetation is growing though. It's not like alchemical ingredients, is it? It's just like like vegetables and
It's
stuff.
a mixture of things. Someone give me a nature check again. Go on, Niacin.
Not me.
Time to shine.
I'll go for it, I guess.
I have a -1 in intelligence. I don't
Oh
think
yeah, basically you immediately recognise that there's a whole assortment of things in here. There are some foodstuffs, although not that many. A lot of these seem to be herbal things, alchemical things, as was mentioned. This is the sort of thing that if you were mixing up potions and experimenting on things, then this would definitely be quite useful for that kind of thing. They're all a little bit stunted in growth because of the lack of actual sunlight, but they're growing enough that they're fruiting, they're pollinating, they are growing. And you think that you could certainly, once everything's nurtured and blooming, it would actually be quite a useful little gathering spot. It looks like anything that would have been ripe for harvest and gathering has already been done. So whoever's
no looting the alchemical ingredients.
I tell you what. Okay, give me an investigation check, Niacin, as you're rummaging around and identifying plants. You have a little look around. You find a few bits that you know can be useful. Are you actually proficient with a herbology kit at all? Herbalism kit?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay, you know that you've seen this particular plant used in medicine before. You don't specifically remember what it is, but yeah, you can definitely put some herb. What's the? Damn it! I had the name a moment.
If it's just generic, you could just literally call them medicinal herbs.
Yes, but it is a specific.
You're a druid. You're automatically proficient with a herbalism kit.
I'm pretty sure. Are you?
Yeah, it comes with the class.
Does it?
It comes with the class.
Oh, does it?
Does it?
It might.
Yeah, I just looked it up in the book.
Okay.
Let me see if we've put it on there. Because if it hasn't been put on there, that will probably be my fault.
Well, it's definitely not in the character sheet.
That's what you're saying. Oh, it is. Bottom left.
Oh. Huh?
Herbalism kit.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, because it's under tools. Right.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I didn't specify, but yeah, you are proficient with herbalism kit and you're proficient with nature. Yes, you bear with me a second. I had the name of this in my head a moment ago, and unfortunately, my brain has utterly failed to remember what the hell it is. You notice this is a bit of wild sage root. Two portions, you think. And certainly, you probably could, with a bit of time, you could probably figure a way either to make something medicinal or sell it or whatever. So if you put on your character sheet, it doesn't weigh anything. 2 lots of wild sage root.
I'll put it in the party loot.
Okay.
2 times sage root.
Right then.
I'm just going to put a subheading for today.
Right. To the north, you see a big hole in the wall where it's clearly collapsed, and beyond is what looks like a natural cave or fissure that's opened up. Bottom right of the room is a door. Top right is also a door.
Lots of choice.
Can I inspect the little blight to see if there's anything interesting about it at all?
Well, now that it's dead and not moving, it's actually pretty much indistinguishable from a bundle of twigs. It's only when
special about the bark.
There doesn't seem to be anything at all. It just looks like a normal bundle of twigs. It literally, if it wasn't for the fact that you'd seen it attacking people and trying to hurt people, you wouldn't have necessarily believed it, because it's just a normal bundle of twisted wood and twigs.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, what are you guys thinking?
I'm going to try and open this door.
I was going to say we maybe want to have a look around to see if if there's like tracks or anything like that, but I'm not any good at that, so.
There's a lot of tracks in the ground, mostly of the skeletons, but there are some booted tracks and some barefoot tracks that most people can see because the soil's been tilled and they've just been stepped on, so you don't even need tracking skill to see the tracks. But there's a lot of movement back and forth. It looks like the footprints are smaller feet, so it wouldn't be completely dissimilar to the goblins, because you saw some of them walking around barefoot.
Yeah.
The door that you're opening, Daniel. There is a corridor that leads into darkness.
That is a long corridor.
Okay.
Maybe checking out the whole hole in the wall thing might be
Yeah.
an idea, because that's a point actually. Is there any way of telling like what could have made this hole? Is it like, does it look like some sort of digging creature has done it, or does
No,
it
it
look
looks like it naturally collapsed as the cave behind it collapsed. You see in the distance, though, as you're moving in, you do see.
I see some creatures in there.
some
Yeah.
sort of red token?
It's a big rat, and it's curled up
Oh, I see something else.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can't tell what it is though. It's very dark.
Okay. Well, I'll describe before anyone starts moving anymore. You can see the rat is curled up in a bundle of twigs. Looks like a crude nest. Bits of fibers, or the softer fibers as well, and it's curled up and it looks like it's asleep. The other thing you can see in the distance is just some vague movement. You're not 100% sure. But there's definitely something moving back there.
Something through the wall. Some rats, of course, but there's more on the other side.
Well,
I think we should try and make this area safe before we proceed down any other hallways.
perhaps, but perhaps we're also just disturbing the wildlife here.
I think there's something more than just wildlife in these corridors.
Well, I suppose we've been killing everything up until now anyway.
What are you guys gonna do?
Well, might as well go in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we could attack things with ranged fire. Well, go in to see the. I guess we're killing the rat anyway.
The rat, yeah.
I can't see any rat.
You can't. Well, you don't have dark vision.
You just need to have a peek around this
Yeah.
corner.
Oh no, wait. He's a half elf. He does have dark vision.
Dude, I'm just in the wrong vantage point here.
Yeah.
Okay, now I can see it.
Yeah, if we're intent on killing the wildlife, might as well throw some ranged shit at it before we, disturb the rat queen.
Yeah, I might as well throw in there.
Daniel, are you trying to be quiet at all?
Oh, you disturbed the rat queen!
Daniel doesn't really do quiet.
You disturbed the rat queen!
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and say, you're probably going to have to roll these, but it really depends. I'm just going to bring that up anyway. You know what, just roll me initiative. Yeah, roll me initiative on this one.
Oh, do we not get the first attack, since we're initiating?
You guys aren't initiating.
Oh, something's... okay, well, you've done it now.
Yeah, you've done it now.
Yeah, I was just going to throw
Apparently.
shit at it from back here.
You're really not getting into the spirit of Adrik.
Well,
He did say, last session, in fairness, that he was going to let Daniel take the lead a bit more. He did say that.
This is actually true, yes.
Even in that case, Adrik is not the sort to say, let's stand back here and shoot things.
No,
well,
he is,
it's to antagonize it so it comes to us. It's the smart strategical move, right? Got you.
Yeah, now you see. It's okay, it's fine, it's,
Alright, you're right. Next time, I'll just run in there and hope for the best.
it's what he
User
does.
was moved to your channel.
There we are. Fantastic.
Yay!
Yay!
Just in time for you to roll
Welcome.
initiative.
Oh, good. Let me actually load in.
Also, we all died and we have new characters now.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
so you
good.
know.
We're all
Glad to
actually
hear.
we're all actually Dopplers pretending to be the old characters, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I mean,
I
we're now
thought you were
former
going to tell me
colleagues
that
of
you're all
Arky.
kobolds or something.
No, everything went terribly wrong because you weren't here to click Eldritch Blast.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Now, only Adrik is a kobold this time, so.
Yeah, the rest of us are gnomes.
I mean,
I
he
thought
already
you guys
was.
would be goblins.
Well, that's our
The
NPC.
Order of the
Arky.
Durn.
Darn!
Yeah.
Ah,
Definitely get an ambush here
very-
if they have advantage on initiative.
Advantage on
Very
initiative? They shouldn't have
advantageous,
advantage. Oh my goodness. Why does it have
Yes, you're rolling with
advantage?
advantage.
Yeah, being ambushed. and you'll
Although,
die
in fairness,
horrifically.
both the first dice on those were actually the highest roll anyway, so it's exactly the same. And
No,
then-
it's the thought that scares us.
Look,
Oh,
there's a
is
very
that a
reasonable
rat
chance
queen?
that one of those rat won't
king?
actually make it to Daniel.
There is a good chance.
What do you mean rats? I
there-
can only see one.
I'm totally cool
Oh,
with
thank
it, with there being
goodness. I
like
was
a
just
a
thinking
rat
to myself,
monarch.
man, I missed fighting rats.
Well, we just fought some skeletons and some blight twigs.
I have a.
We did
No, I
upgrade
didn't.
from rats. Briefly.
Briefly.
I mean, they were also peasant skeletons who were farming.
True. You did technically kill peasant skeletons, if there is such a thing.
I mean, they might be the skeletons of peasants too. It might just be a horrific cycle of peasantry and death and life.
Lol.
We could
There are
only hope
probably
that...
far
Right,
more
everything's
people that
almost
work
loaded in.
this. There are probably far more people that work this field, and we just saw the skeleton workforce.
Yeah, it's also tended by invisible ghosts.
Hey, maybe
I knew it!
Maybe these
Invisible
are
ghosts.
maybe these are awoken rat bodyguards that we're about to tangle.
Awoken rats. Yeah, they're level 7 warriors.
Oh dear.
So
We're doomed.
There's at least one spellcaster rat there too.
Yeah. It's about to cast fucking power word death on you or something or whatever it is.
Hey, a good fireball would kill us all anyway.
Well, this
they don't
is
need
true.
to go that far up.
This is fair enough. This is fair enough. Okay. You hear from the back, not from the rats, but not from the awoken rats, but from the back somewhere. You hear something in Goblin. You know what language. You can tell that it's Goblin because you've heard this quite a few times now. Urki kind of like says in a quiet voice, "Oh no."
What did he say, Urki? What's so troubling you?
Before you manage to say that, the rats run around the corner.
Oh, these are strategic rats, boys. We can't but by no means run after them. They'll be a trap.
Okay. And Urki reveals that someone cried out in Goblin, "Get ready to meet the cook pot."
Well,
Alright, Mr. Cuckpot.
Okay,
That
Callie.
sounds like an insult. I can't
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else.
right, so I guess I'm first, dropping right into it here.
Go for it.
Well, first things first, let's try to actually walk a little further up, why don't we?
This would be
25 feet, yeah, that's fine enough
you
for
don't
me.
want any of that.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over my 8 false life health.
It's not 8 anymore. It's like 3.
Oh, no, it is 8 now. You've had a break in
Oh.
combat, plenty of opportunity to cast that cantrip again.
Fair enough.
It's a ridiculous cantrip.
I'm gonna go there and ready in action.
Well, it's not
to...
a cantrip for anyone except
Oh.
a warlock with that invocation.
Correct. Okay, so what action are you readying, and under what circumstance?
I'm readying an action to Eldritch Blast the first hostile enemy I see.
Eldritch Blast. Fancy that.
I know, right? Such a shocker.
Surprise!
Adrik.
Well, yes. After being advised on how to properly do things,
Yeah.
I'm gonna move forward and get my shield out and bang on it and go, "Oi, you wee gobshites, get over here!" And ready in action to hit anything that takes me up on it. Not that I expect anything to.
Fair enough. Okay then. Let's
Mr.
see.
Gobbo.
Gobbo.
What was his name?
Perhaps a hobgobber. Now that I see the picture.
You think?
Looks more like a were-rat.
No, that's a hobgobber for sure.
You think so?
I mean, unless it isn't entirely representative, which is a possibility.
It's
I
possible.
like how you moved exactly into range of him.
Okay, out from behind
Rolling fast.
this thing is a creature with basically a big morning star and a shield.
Yeah,
and
it's a hobgobber.
It's not a hobgoblin.
Oh, no?
No, it's not a hobgoblin. It charges out into Adrik's range.
Yes, I'm gonna bash it with my mighty bashing stick.
Excellent.
No, I don't. I
That's
feel
awful.
It's the curse
you
of
you
the
hit a little
Cleric's
bit early.
Warhammer.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's been going strong.
both of you missed
Great job, Robbie. You're doing
pathetically.
exactly like Foxxy. You're
Well-
playing perfect copy of him.
Oh no.
And it decides it's going to have a good swing at you. Yes, and I'm going to swing that one. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. A 6.
It's even more fake than me.
Never mind.
It would have been awesome.
It just
roll,
hits him
though.
on the side and goes bonk.
Yeah, that
think at that
7
point it's
piercing
more of a
damage would
flail.
have been great too.
Ah, stupid creature. Orkon.
I think it's time for a bow. I'm gonna shoot at this. He has. I got advantage, correct?
No,
Do you?
No.
You will be able to make a sneak attack because there's an adjacent ally.
Yeah,
Oh,
you get the sneak attack if you want it, but you don't get a surprise because he can just see you there.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not a
Oh, sorry.
hobgoblin. That's a bugbear, isn't it?
It is a bugbear.
Fuck. They're the hobgoblins are like the martial goblins. They're
Yeah,
like...
go.
The number of goblinoid races is
Never mind.
What is it with this fucking... Honestly, it's just like everyone's flailing around, hitting the floor.
wacky arm flailing inflatable tube man right now.
Okay, Niacin. You see this this brute of a creature,
I
this
do.
kind of bit like a goblin, charge forward, and everybody just starts flailing and missing.
It's like, what the hell is that?
What happened to you guys? I think you've been resting for too long. I'm gonna kind of charge in because I'm really not worried at this point.
Okay,
And I'm gonna throw a hand axe at him
go on.
from a flanking position.
Okay.
Which is, of course, classically the most accurate of attacks you have.
Doesn't matter, it gets me advantage.
Well, I mean, no, because there's... Why would it get advantage? No? Because you're not
I'm
adjacent.
on the side of him. He's
You-
facing the dwarf.
It's,
Flanking also doesn't give range advantage
It's
for ranged
fine.
weapons
it's
anyway.
a ranged
It's
attack.
fine. Yeah.
Oh, the ranged.
Go on, lob it. Yeah, you missed.
Yep.
Nobody's
Sails
hitting.
over his head.
This is just like...
Now, if you wanted
Hey,
advantage...
I gotta keep up the trend.
That's fine, that's fine.
He's
Who just
ducking,
pinned that
he's ducking
square?
and weaving, boys. His one's an advanced one.
Right, Daniel is going to run up to here, run slightly past it,
Mhm.
spin round.
Mhm.
Fuck's sake!
Oh my
Right?
god!
And miss. A
Even
lot.
with advantage. For fuck's sake!
You guys, is this gonna be like that thing where you all keep fumbling and you keep slowly getting closer to copulating with the poor creature? Because you just keep on gently caressing it and it's just failing
Look,
miserably to cause injury.
It's clear.
I
that
just
this-
want chat to know this is like the joke session. You know, this is the comedy one. It's
Ah.
comedy hour here.
No, this is going to be the fight that because nobody can hit each other, we finally go with diplomacy because we've just had enough.
No, we've tried diplomacy.
Yeah, we've really
There's
exhausted
no more
Some of
diplomacy.
us
diplomacy.
tried
Diplomacy is
diplomacy.
done.
I mean, I even tried to talk to the damn twig thing, but
I'm
it
not
just wasn't
convinced
worth it.
that you guys have tried diplomacy.
Oh, we
in-
have.
Yeah, you got
At length,
all you
and
guys'
Daniel is now
characters suck at
frustrated
diplomacy.
with
Is the thing.
Right, I get an opportunity attack on, which was the first one that came into Daniel's
Yeah,
range.
don't care. Probably the one on the right.
Oh, fuck it.
Oh my god, it's a rat.
Wow.
It's just... Oh my god.
It's like I've got +5 to hit. How is this happening?
I don't even know. I mean, if these rats
Really
both
poor
miss,
rolls.
if both these rats with advantage miss you, I mean, if they hit your armor, I'm not actually that fussed. But if they miss you completely, then that's it. I just throw the tile in. The whole session we'll just call pretend it never happened, and just call it a day. And I don't know, play fucking I don't know, Left 4 Dead 2 or something.
Yeah.
You know, it just something. So the rats come around.
It's the point where both sides just sort of look at each other and go, right, and walk different ways.
Fancy a drink.
Pretend like this never happened.
This ain't working, eh?
Yeah. They just basically turn around. You all just sit down and have a drink instead. It's much fucking easier.
We rock, paper, scissors for the way out, right?
Something like that. So the first rat attacks.
Well, it's a crit.
Wow.
The second rat
That is
attacks.
a pretty powerful bite.
You see,
So,
suddenly
session's
you roll
still
like,
on then.
Attack rats.
What is with these crits on goblins and rats and shit?
I don't fucking know. All I know, you take 13 damage, Daniel. Because I'm pretty sure your AC's not 20.
No, it
was
isn't.
killed by
I've got a
rats.
decent AC, but not that decent.
Because you've got that armor, haven't you now? That modified
Oh
hobgoblin
yeah,
armor.
I'm
haven't
sitting on 18 armor class, but yeah.
you? Yeah. Yeah, so these two rats, as you're distracted by missing this pathetic creature in front of you, you actually only got the attack against them by accident.
I'm sure I did some very, very convincing halberd spinning.
Oh yeah, you were proper kind of like, wah, just spinning it around. You could have rolled a performance check to see how graceful you are. I mean, you could still do it if you really want. But yeah, unfortunately...
I don't think you'll be very good at it. I'll roll it.
Do it anyway. It'll be hilarious. No,
yeah, there we go.
It wasn't that impressive. I mean, you didn't drop your halberd, but the rats did bite you right between the legs because it's like right in the inner thigh where there's not as much armor, and yeah, you don't like that. Okay, so the two rats have done that. Callie, what are you gonna do after you see this graceless display by everything but the dumb animals?
Yeah, so I'm thinking let's go for something that doesn't require an attack roll, just to be on the safe side.
That could be
And
useful.
I'm looking at that intelligent-looking, large goblin-y person.
With the armor,
I'm
the
thinking-
shield, and the morning star that wants to cook everybody.
Well, at least I can still roll low on damage, fuck's sake.
At least he rolled something that can't miss.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do anything.
No,
it's a half damage.
No, it does half.
Oh, is it?
Two.
Oh, right, you used the first. I thought you were using fucking the cantrip one.
But he saves, so at least he doesn't end up getting terrified by your terrible music.
You
That's
caused
right.
him a very mild headache.
It was just out of tune.
Oh, I hope he chokes on it.
Or maybe he's just slightly distracted, like, did I leave the stove on?
Exactly.
I'm experiencing mild discomfort.
Oh, fuck's sake. Adrik!
Right, hey, whoa, I was gonna move. I was gonna do like a walking thing.
Sorry, go on, move. You tiptoe.
Thank you.
You should have just
Sorry.
moved the one square.
Yeah, and then back.
On second thoughts.
Right then.
Right. Well, I'm gonna.
You
hope
have advantage now.
Yeah, come on.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
hope that the trusty war stick does its fucking job.
Go on, smack it. Oh,
Yay.
finally, someone
Hooray.
actually hits the bloody thing. Fucking hell.
Goblin, meet hammer. Hammer, meet goblin.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing he'd say. I'm pretty sure he's exactly said that exact thing before.
Probably.
Yes.
Yep.
Except this isn't a goblin, but you know, it's Adrik.
It's
so-
a
He said
goblin
it for
thing.
rats, he said it for kobolds, yeah.
Yeah, he said it for pretty much everything. Are you going to move anywhere, Adrik, or do anything else?
Should I possibly try and move around it to stop the massive amounts of? Oh fuck! Roll 20.
You're actually in a decent spot, right?
Yeah, I'd say it's. Yeah, I'd say I'm fine. I'll leave it at that and just, in dwarven shout, you're a right shagger or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
You're a right shagger. Okay.
I mean, yeah, unconvinced that that's particularly great, but either way, he seems to understand what you say, Adrik, and he seems to grimace. Although you think it's a grimace, he may have wind, or he may be chewing something. You don't know. As he decides that, you know what, this is a toe-to-toe fight. You guys, yeah, he's just gonna swing for you.
Oh, that won't hit. I have 19 AC.
Oh, because that was a lot of damage, wasn't it? With the spiky stick.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that would have hurt.
Yep. He's got a good swing on him. He's got massive arms. He's a bit of a brute, to be honest. Right then. That's pretty much it though, as far as he goes. Orkon.
All right. I'm going to take a step up, and I'm going to shoot at the big guy again.
Okay.
Yes.
What happened to
Thing.
Icky's,
Yeah, I was gonna say Urki
initiative.
isn't in the turn order.
yeah,
No,
okay.
he's not. He's kind of hiding at the back at the moment. He
Yeah,
doesn't look like much of a combatant to you guys.
Never mind.
The arrow whistles off and disappears down a tunnel behind him.
Take a short bow after that one. I can't believe you actually laughed at that.
He's got a long bow, actually.
Oh god.
Are you moving anywhere, Orkon? You done?
I'm done.
Niacin.
I'm just being useless.
Oh,
Don't worry about
God.
me.
What's more threatening now, the rats or the big guy?
The rats have done a lot more damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Just kill something already.
Just kill something? Alright, I'll kill a rat.
You can
I
get
just don't know, should I
yeah.
move to the rat?
Yeah, get flanking on it.
It's the wrong button. There we go. This
Technically not flanking.
Okay. No?
Yeah, you could have just moved up to the nest.
What is this flanking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the way it works is from the center of... Okay, here's the easy one. If the line drawn between you and your ally passes through the tile that the enemy's on, it's flanking.
Look, think chess, think knight.
Well, that doesn't always work in every situation.
Because this is also flanking.
Yeah, exactly.
The line principle makes more sense.
That's a very obvious flanking.
The line is the way it works. Just basically, you draw a line. If it passes through the tile in any way, except that would not be flanking because it's on the corner. That goes into the tile. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Advantage. Give me a smack on this big rat.
God, we need advantages against these damn things.
It's best to always take it when you can get it, I guess. Yeah, that's good enough, but the damage isn't. It's still alive. The rat takes it. I mean, it doesn't like it, don't get me wrong. You smack the thing, and it opens up a big gash on its side, but it manages to just roll with the blow a little bit, and it doesn't cause it any critical wounds from what you can see. But yeah, it's unhappy. It's an unhappy rat. Are you moving anywhere else?
I'm sorry, rat. Callie, are you afraid of the rat door?
Not really.
Maybe I should move here.
It will get an opportunity attack on you.
That'll get an opportunity attack if it does that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh, you mean on the dude? Okay.
The rat. No, okay, the rat will attack you.
Oh, the rat will. Oh, okay.
Yes, the rat will attack you if you move away from it.
Yeah.
Okay, this I did not know.
Yeah. It's
I'm
something
fine. I'm happy to stay here then.
Or basically anything. If you're in reach with a melee weapon of something and it then moves out of your reach without disengaging, you then can use your reaction to attack it once.
I see.
Then the enemies get that, you get that, everybody gets that. Okie dokie.
Cool.
Daniel.
I have learned something.
Alright, let's have another go at this bugbear. Hey!
You finally hit it, yeah? He didn't like that.
And I'm going to do this.
Oh, wow, okay.
Probably worthwhile given how much this rat's hurt you.
And not terribly happy about being bitten. Gonna do that.
Yeah, okay.
And have another go.
Pulling out all the stops here.
Oh.
Yeah.
You basically, those two hits, I'm guessing on the bugbear, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, those two hits really tear into this creature.
Yeah, Daniel doesn't like being surrounded.
No, I can tell. At least they're not scaly creatures, I suppose.
Nobody puts the flying halberdier in the corner.
he is the flying halberdier. We will never forget that moment where he tripped
There's
over a
much
wall.
spinning of halberd, and this time it's making contact.
Thank for that. But yes, I mean, that bugbear took those two hits. He wasn't happy about the first hit. The second hit smacked into him. He staggers a bit, and you can see he's looking very blooded now. He's not happy. I mean, he wasn't happy before, but now he's practically delirious from wounds. You think he's not doing well.
Still alive though, the bastard.
He is still alive, absolutely. Okay, one of the rats attacks you. Nom, Daniel, does nothing. The other rat decides that it wants to nom the thing that just attacked it because it doesn't like it anymore. So Niacin, you get that attack, 16. Does that hit you?
That's my AC. Yes, it does actually.
4 points of bitey damage.
Okay.
And that is the two rats' turns. Now you notice as well, these rats do have little bits of leather tied around their neck. And little loops.
Oh, they're
like
pet
collars.
rats.
A bit like collars, yes. And it looks like someone's taken studs from what you can think might have maybe been some studded armor at some point and have actually pushed them sticking outwards. So they're kind of half spiky collars. So you get the impression that this bugbear has two pets.
Is this bugbear like the runt of its litter? Because normally they just take a bloody goblin.
They normally just take a goblin. Why, is he taking two rats?
Maybe it's like goblin crufts.
What, these are best of breed? I mean,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Is their
they
fur
pretty well,
particularly
that's
shiny?
for sure.
No, their coats are not. Their coats are fairly matted with old scars. To be fair.
These really are battle rats then.
Well, you see the damage they did to Daniel.
Given the goblin food,
Sure,
maybe being matted and scarred is their idea of quality.
Clearly, the only reason the rats are truly here is because this is the first area of the RPG, and you have to have giant rats to leave the first area.
It's true.
You see, the rats knew this. They knew this, so they positioned themselves accordingly.
Yeah, that's kind of them, isn't it? Callie, are you going to bring some sanity to this madness?
Well, you're asking the Warlock to bring some sanity in. That's some dire straits you got there, but I will attempt to Eldritch Blast the Bugbear.
Go on, do it.
Please get rid of it.
For pity's sake!
Never mind.
The energy crackles and just streaks up and hits the ceiling, and you're like, damn it!
0 for 4.
Are you moving anywhere before it's Adrik's turn?
Nah, I'm good here.
Adrik!
Yeah, I'm gonna hope for one final.
You think that's all it'll take? One
Holy
final
boot to the
smack.
face. Yep. A final smackaroo. And by the fires of Palor, let's see if it happens. That's a 22.
Oh yeah, you
Sounds
by
like
the
it.
fires of Palor, you crack the bugbear straight on the neck, down into its collarbone. You hear and feel cracking sound. Its head flops back, so does the rest of its body, and it just slumps to the ground, dead.
Yeah. Take that, you miserable git.
He seemed quite happy, to be fair. I think the promise of
Well, he's
more
miserable
food-
now.
Well, he seems indifferent right now.
I contort his face to look miserable.
Is that your bonus action?
Yeah.
There, now you're miserable!
Fuck's sake. Oh, good God. Are you moving anywhere?
Yep. I'll move over there and be like, you're next, you wee bastard.
Orkon.
Yes. I
Are you-
think it's time for me to
Hit.
move up a little bit.
Okay.
Hitting would help
Up here.
as well.
And I'll take a crack at the rat on the right, left. There we go. Ooh. I need like a bigger window.
I know, right?
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
yeah. You hit the
Well,
one
you
on the
finally
right and
hit.
skewer it soundly, and it dies.
If you have 2 monitors, you can pop out your character sheet and put it on the other one.
If you've got one monitor, you can pop out your character sheet and just put it underneath the window and toggle it forward and
that.
backwards.
That's what I do.
I keep forgetting I can pop it out.
Preferably not in public.
That's what that does. Okay.
Not only in public.
You're going to only pop it out in public.
Well,
I
then
mean,
they'll
it's
stick
no
you in
fun
the dock.
otherwise.
Okay. Orkon, you done with your turn?
I think so.
Nice.
Unless you want to give me a second turn for some reason.
Just no, I wasn't feeling it. I mean, Daniel's already had a second action, so I wasn't going to give it out anymore. I feel that's a bit generous. Niacin, you just as you're about to swing and splat the right in front of you, an arrow just whistles into it and skewers its body, and it flops over upside down and dead.
Right.
Give you a
What
thumbs
is
up.
what is the rat doing right now? The one that's left alive.
Trying to chew Daniel.
It's still like wanting to attack.
Oh,
him.
they seem to be pretty savage, like well trained. There's not a hint of fear, even being surrounded.
Stop trying to
Cool.
make peace with
I'm not
beasts.
trying to make
Wait,
peace
wait,
with the
wait,
beast.
let's ask Urki what's Goblin for heal boy.
For fuck's sake.
I'm not even gonna think that far. I'm gonna attack it.
Roll over.
Oh wait, that was. Oops.
I mean, let me just hover over that and see what is it. So you got 2
the same
13s
as
anyway,
hand
so it
axe,
doesn't
so-
matter. Yeah, basically you throw the hand axe, it whistles through the air, it strikes the rat, wedges it partly in its side, but it doesn't. It sort of flops out. There's blood everywhere, but the rat is still going. It's still going without 5 points of damage.
Can someone please finish off these poor, miserable, abused creatures?
Daniel, you've been summoned to perform a great service to nature.
Isn't that just the motto of our party?
Pretty much.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that
Daniel has no pity for something that just nommed his privates.
Yeah, exactly. Right on the inside of the leg. It's really fucking awkward. It's not very nice. Okay, yeah, you devastate its body in ways that it never saw coming. It was a humane death. It's very, very dead. And as you all catch your breath, you realise Nothing else happens, and the Anarchy now ventures into the room and starts poking around.
Yeah,
Right, I'm
I'll
gonna
look
do
to...
something I
would
should have
like
done
to,
ages ago.
What is that?
Okie dokie. So, Niacin, you're summoning good berries.
Yes.
What are you doing with them? How are you distributing them, if at all?
I'm gonna eat 4.
Okay. Anybody
So
else
back
getting
up to
any?
4. Yes. How much damage does Orkon have?
I took 2.
Okay, I'll give you... Wait, hang on. I had 1 already from last session. I don't think Orkon had any. I'll give you 4, Orkon. Okay.
Alright, then I'll go ahead and eat 2 of them then.
Okay. So I had 11. I've eaten 4. So that's another 4 gone. So there's another 3. How much are you short, Daniel?
4. I've still got 2 from last session.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the rest. You can have 3.
Okay. Who else wanted to do something?
Yeah, I wanted to look to the party and say, do you think that ugly one had something to do with a mage?
What, that? I point at what's left of the bugbear.
Yeah.
He was pretty close to those, well, shall we call them skeletal farmers?
I was gonna say skeleton bros, but that works.
But I'd think they'd have to be on fairly decent terms to not, fight.
Maybe he's just crafty. He looked like he was really hungry.
Bear in mind
I'll have a
that
look
the skeletons only actually attacked you when you attacked them.
This is true. The
True,
skeletons
but
were
I
passive.
would've-
The bugbear wasn't.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll look over the bugbear and see if he has any, I don't know, signs of branding or, I don't know, affiliation on him.
You examine the bugbear. Apart from the fact that he's got this big morning star and a shield and some primitive hide armor, you don't really find that much. Oh no, sorry, no, he's got 2 javelins as well.
Oh, javelins.
Ooh, javelins.
Okay, so repeat that again.
Morning star.
Right.
Hide armor's worthless, so I mean you put it down if you really want. There's a shield in there, and 2 javelins.
Cool.
The Morning Star, is that just a great weapon sort of thing?
It's just whatever's in the player's book.
Okay.
I would like to collect my arrows if they're...
One of them you can't find. It went up north into that tunnel and clattered somewhere in there, but you can't find it unless you want to venture into that tunnel.
Yeah,
Did
I
somebody
suspect
make
that
the party
tunnel leads somewhere.
Did somebody make the party loot reasonable?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
It
good
was
stuff.
reorganized.
So when we get gold, at least from now on, just iterate on the currency. Instead of having 50 different heaps of it.
Hey, if somebody else wants to take over, they can feel free to implement a better system.
That's what's happened.
Right.
Good.
Given there's nothing interesting here, what's this whole thingy?
This
I'm
whole
gonna
thing.
change
wander
my...
down the tunnel.
Okay, the
I'm
tunnel.
gonna change my rapier.
Okay. You poke your head around the tunnel, and the tunnel is very narrow. The air coming from it is very, very cold. Although there's not a breeze, it's just very cold. You get the distinct impression this tunnel goes deep into the earth, far away from the actual fortress that you're exploring right now. There is evidence of goblin tracks going that way and back and forth, but you get the impression this is a tunnel that leads away from the fortress itself, wherever it is that it goes, deep into the bowels of the earth.
Yeah, maybe let's come back here later.
I think we should prioritize finding the party and the grove, as the goblins called it.
Definitely
But
makes more
first-
sense than just
Rewinding.
looking through that tunnel.
But first, I want to search this bedroll, see if he has anything valuable in there.
Yeah,
For real?
you look into this little bedroll and you find 2 spears,
Okay.
6 javelins,
Okay.
a long sword,
Wow. All right.
a great sword. They're all clattered around. They're really out in the open. It's just you needed to go over there and have a look. That's all you find. That's
Hold on a minute. I know what was the deal with this. Since there's a long tunnel and goblin tracks, that guy was a gatekeeper.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was guarding the goblin the realm here from the outside, wherever that tunnel leads to into the nether regions of the world.
I'll look to question, since I haven't been here for a lot of it. Do we know what this organization of the goblins is? Do they have some sort of tribe or something?
We know that it's led by Bellic.
Oh no, it was led by Dern, and Bellic was the
some sort of ally.
Yeah,
well, no,
wizard.
Bellic is some kind of wizard man who, let's face it, has the most influence in the tribe, seeing as we killed Dern.
Yes.
And it also seems that Bellic is the most likely one to either have or know the golden apples, and he's also where the prisoners were sent.
Correct.
Right, and Urki over here is he was a kobold prisoner, right?
He was a
gnome
goblin prisoner.
No, gnome prisoner.
He's a gnome, yeah, but he was a prisoner of the goblins,
he
and
is
he
a
basically
gnome.
told us all this information.
Oh, I thought he was a goblin.
No,
He's a gnome.
God damn it! How offensive! Fuck.
It's alright. All small
look
things
at
are.
that picture. That could be anything.
Well,
Be
he
a
was
halfling.
kept in a very small cage, so
No,
I imagine he doesn't
halflings,
look.
gnomes, goblins.
Just poke the handout for Area 34 and scenes and locations. Go ahead.
Give me a perception check, Niacin and Adrik,
Right.
and I would say Orkon as well.
Oh shit! I gotta turn that off.
Whoa!
I see. Oh,
Orkon.
Good job.
After Niacin searches through the sleeping area and Adrik wanders around up that cave, you notice, even though you didn't really go anywhere near it, you notice that he missed a box hidden in the bedding of this bugbear's sleeping area. It's just there. You just spot it with your keen eyes. You're obviously going over there, so I'm guessing you're fiddling out. It's a very small.
I've already searched the area, Orkon.
He pulls out this box that the
shit.
druid completely missed.
box.
And it's only a very crude box. It's
How
not
did I
even
miss that?
it's not even a lock on it. It was sort of hidden under the furs, wrapped up in another fur. And you spotted that there was a bulge, and you just uncover it, and you easily realise that there's nothing of danger to this box because it's a very crude box. Inside, you find 241 silver pieces.
Is he taking tolls?
And 54 gold pieces.
This fucker was taking
54
tolls,
gold,
wasn't
wow.
he? He was a toll keeper.
Seems like it. Or alternately, he just took bribes to bring people in.
So what I'm hearing is that he's the troll under the fortress.
Yeah, except they couldn't afford a troll.
Pretty
so
much.
they, so they got a bugbear,
got a
with,
bugbear
with two
instead.
rats.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair to goblins, I mean they're kind of stupid. They wouldn't really know.
This is true. He might have told them that he was a troll.
I don't think they'd
This is
believe
the
him.
thing.
They're both goblinoid.
To be fair, that you don't want a troll under your bridge anyway, because there's a very well-known counter to that.
It's true.
Well, I
you
mean,
can't
the
exactly
biggest-
use goats.
The biggest
on-
problem with trolls is that they get drunk and occasionally say bad things about you.
This is true.
But they also have a terrible weakness to billy goats.
Yes, this is
I was
true.
about to say, and you can't
Especially
use
gruff
that on
ones.
bugbears.
Disadvantage to athletics checks to remain upright when hit by charging creatures.
Right.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
so yeah, we've successfully killed another innocent creature and stole its money. So let's.
Damn straight.
you know,
That's our A game.
This is just how we roll at this point.
Innocent!
But-
It attacked us!
And it
I
did
know.
suggest that he wanted to kill you and cook you and eat you. He did suggest
Yes.
that.
It didn't suggest the cooking and eating bit, but the killing bit. I mean, we are.
No,
we
it did outright say it's cauldron time, baby, or something.
No,
to
I
that
said
extent.
no. It said a cuckpot. We don't know what a cuckpot is. You know, that's not. You don't. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't cook with a cuckpot.
That's because you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
but
right, that's why your
maybe
food
we should
tastes
explore
like
the
shit.
rest of the fortress.
Yes, that's a good
Ah,
Let's go
idea.
this way. I'm gonna start
Let's get
walking.
But by
this
the way, before that happens, I do want to comfort Niacin and try to make it seem like it was a mistake anyone could have made. So I'm going to roll some deception there.
Very
Right,
nice.
I'm gonna try this door.
Okie dokie.
Well, I'm suitably convinced.
Okay.
Excellent.
Let Adrik
I see,
kick
I
it.
see. These
Too
things,
late.
these things happen.
Okay, what you see beyond is a hallway very, very similar to the other hallways that you've seen before, with the pillars that are made from marble that have the dragons coiled around them, etched into them. You also see a lot of benches scattered about. And they've got all kinds of stuff scattered on the benches, all sorts of, looks like plants and basic tools, various other things. From here you can't really see too much, but yeah, you can certainly see that there's an empty corridor devoid of creatures anyway, with various other bits and bobs and doors to the north and south.
I think we found the
I'm gonna move up to here and
warehouse.
peek around this corner.
No, I was gonna
Are
say,
you
with
trying
all
to sneak Daniel in any way?
As
I don't
only
think
Daniel
you
can,
are.
so sure.
Oh, give me a stealth. You suck hard.
Oh dear.
I face palm a little bit.
Well,
Okay.
I don't think they've heard us.
Yeah. I don't think they've heard us.
It's the halberd on the floor going.
Yeah, you're making no noise, but you're dragging the head of the halberd along.
No, that would be terrible for the blade.
Oh, that's a good
No,
point.
that's bad.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Yeah.
No, he's just
on
banging it
other
on the
side.
floor and it's echoing each time he takes a step.
Fuck's sake.
Using it like a walking stick.
Yeah, basically, he's
Well, if
making
you're
no
carrying
sound.
it, then sure, yeah, that's exactly what you're
So I
gonna do.
take it we're rolling initiative again.
Yeah, because you're just stomping around and disturbing goblins and
Let's
just.
be honest. This is how we do things.
Look, it's goblins, they need to die.
This is how we do it.
At no point
Hey,
have they shown to be
it's
anything
fine
other
as
than
long as they,
hostile.
if we'll convert them. We'll, if they accept the light of Palor, then they can die later.
I'm sure they'll take that under advisement.
It'd be a very prudent
I
move
see
on their
tiny
part.
baby goblins.
Baby goblins.
Yes.
Those are the most dangerous of all, but also delicious.
This is the same token that you were using for the civilians upstairs.
Yeah.
I've yet to be convinced by your argument, Adrik, but you could
I
possibly.
mean, the argument is all in the cuck pot. So if we can throw a few of them in there, add some toenail spicing.
You're talking
Well,
to the.
You know what? It's gonna be better than dwarven bread. So.
Oh, fucking
Anything's
anything.
better than dwarf bread, just as a rule.
Yeah,
Goblin
pretty much.
wine is better than dwarf bread.
This is true.
Speaking
I
of
think
speaking of
goblin
which,
wine
Daniel.
is a euphemism for piss.
No. Speaking of which, Daniel, actually, talking of wine, you can actually sniff something wafting out of the doorway that's nearest to you that does actually smell vaguely alcoholic.
It's grog. It's always grog.
Well, it smells stronger than an ale or a grog. Definitely stronger than a grog. And anyway, you're not
making potions.
That's possible, I suppose. Okie dokie. Before the initiative officially starts, the goblin that you can see, Daniel, and probably the goblin that Adrik sees, also see you in return. They point and they yell things in goblin and start panicking. One of them moves that way, one moves that way, and that's it. I would like Callie, your turn.
Right, so
You've heard there's lots of movement sounds coming from beyond.
I've heard screams in Goblin as well, I'm assuming.
Yep, shouts. Some
walk
of
up
them
a
more
little
panicked, some of them angry.
I can only see this one in the corner right here.
That one looks like it's trying to escape and hide away. It doesn't look like it's armed.
I was gonna say.
If these are unarmed, maybe.
Oh, now I see one.
Okay.
Yeah, see that one.
Yeah, there's one up through that door that you can see. That's definitely armed. It's literally grabbed hold of a scimitar and it's basically
All right, well
donning a shield.
Wrong
one's-
move.
That one's declared its intent. so I
Fuck.
guess.
Okay, you hit this goblin,
wow.
and I mean,
At
wow.
that angle, it's just going to hit the other one.
It is. It gets flung back into the other one, and the other one just gets pinned underneath the crackled,
Oh, does
scorched
its head
body.
not fit through the hole in the torso?
Oh, come on. Collateral damage.
Ends up like a stockade with his head stuck in the middle for people to throw tomatoes at it. Fuck's sake. No, it just gets pinned under the scorched remains of his armed friend. Well done, Callie. Well, that's shown them. You doing anything else?
I suppose I still have a bit of movement, don't I?
A little bit.
Oh, look, another one.
Again, that one also looks unarmed, looks terrified, and was previously shouting for help. Intruders, maybe.
I'm gonna walk over here and wave kindly at the other one.
Fuck's sake, you monster. Okay, that it?
I also, like, put my finger to my lips, and I'm like, shh.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not gonna terrify him.
I know, right?
You've just basically incinerated with pure energy his friend, crushed another one underneath that corpse, and he's out cold, and you just like casually stroll in and go, shh. It's like, what?
Isn't that how you start your dissonant whispers?
That's one of the ways I can do it. Hell, I could telepathically talk to him and say, like, do something like I did to Derny Goblin, but...
I'll scramble it with pure fear until it can't do anything but repeat a word.
Pretty much. I could do that, but no, let's let Daniel have the turn.
Yeah, Daniel, what are you doing?
I'm gonna move up so I can actually see what's in this room. And it's not dangerous. So I'll move up a bit more.
I wave.
More innocent-looking goblins flailing around, not looking like they know what's going on.
And that one?
Ooh, you can see the corner of something that looks like it's maybe wearing a crude leather armor, but you're not sure what it's doing. It looks like it's rummaging around something that's out of sight to you.
Okay. Then I'll move down to there.
Okay.
Wait.
For it to exit the door, I'm guessing.
Well, I've used my movement. Ah!
It's armed. You miss it. It continues its movement and smacks you with a scimitar.
It really doesn't.
Very poorly.
No, it really doesn't. It just kind of, as you swing at it, it swings at you, and you both miss each other, and you pirouette gracefully. Right.
Yay. Is that a dead rat on that table?
We can stop the...
It doesn't look dead. It's still twitching, but it seems to be nailed down.
Ugh.
Dead enough.
Animal cruelty, that's something that Palor can't abide.
Okay.
Probably.
Adrik, now it's your time. It's your time to show them how much you hate cruel people.
Well, I'm gonna see this, subversion of all that is right and just, and look at this monster that would do such a thing, and shout, "Ah!" and charge in and give him a whack.
Go on then. Is that how far as you can move? Oh, you whack that one.
Yep.
Yeah, you smack it, you give it a good smack, and it doesn't like it, but it doesn't die either.
Well, I shout, "Ah!" more. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to move into that room, I don't think. So he's the next best thing.
Which is fair enough.
Oh, I
You know
can't move
you've
that
got
far. Oh shit, you're right.
ranged cantrips, right?
Oh, you're rude. You still would have hit it, but you need to move back a bit because you're a slow-ass dwarf, aren't you?
Well, that was just rude.
Mm.
In fact, I'll go, one over there.
You do know you have ranged cantrips, right?
You do know I have a warhammer, right?
Well, the goblin certainly does.
Yeah, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. Orkon.
Alright, I'm going to go to approximately here, I think.
Okay.
So I get a better sense of what the situation is. There's a lot of goblins, and I'm guessing most of these I'm seeing are not hostile.
No, they're cowering and trying to hide in corners and not do much.
So I'm pretty sure Adrik and Daniel have this one guy taken care of, and the rest of these I just want to keep an eye on, but I'm otherwise going to take no action.
Okay. Niacin.
Okay, I'm gonna move there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there. Okay, I see a lot more. Yeah, I'm gonna throw a hand axe at this guy.
Which one?
The unarmed one.
No. Not yet.
No, not yet. That one. Go on then. Nope. It you throw the hand axe, it hits a patch of its leather armor, and it just deflects off and clatters next to a table behind it.
It is a pity.
It is a pity. They have got some armor. Okay.
That's
Callie.
it. I'm gonna block the door.
Blam! Oh, well, that was less effective.
You blow the rat off the table.
Well, Callie's up in the top room, and yeah, you unleash lightning against this goblin that's in the corner, and it narrowly misses. I mean, yeah, by a whisker, it misses.
Wait, he's attacking the civilian?
Well, you know.
No, I'm not attacking the civilian. I'm attacking this one.
Oh, that one.
That I
okay.
can see.
It misses, and unfortunately, yeah, doesn't do anything.
So it goes. Right. I wave at my newfound goblin friend. I'm assuming it's my friend.
You can assume that if you wish.
I mean,
Sure.
It'll be anything you want it to be, as long as you please don't kill it, Master.
That's the plan, baby. That's how we write our rules. I think that's as far as my movement can go. Let's double check that. Oh, nope. I can totally
you're gonna have to
look
wiggle
inside.
a bit to get out the door a little bit, but don't know why I'm drawing lines. It's really
Draw
No,
more
I can
lines.
totally go 25. That's 25 just like that.
cool.
Sad rat.
It's a very sad rat.
In
Okay.
perfect sacrificial position, though.
Let's
I don't
move
know
up and
what-
finish off this.
I don't know what, like, you'd sacrifice a rat to. I think most gods would be pretty offended by it.
Look, all life is precious.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's a very dead goblin.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn dead goblin.
But not that guy's life.
Okay, the combat's officially over, and a goblin begins to run away toward that door. Do you let it?
Yeah,
Are we gonna
I don't
let it?
mind
It's
that one.
probably
I've
gonna.
got two here that I'm
I'm going to
basically...
telepathically...
Not a good
No,
idea
wait,
to let
wait.
these
It's
guys get
gonna.
Guys,
It is gonna run
guys,
to the next area
guys,
though,
Guys,
and it's gonna. You know.
Do we
I'm
really
going
care?
to I'm telepathically communicating with it right now.
Okay, what are you saying?
I'm saying that if you warn any other armed goblins, then we will hunt you down and eradicate you.
You don't get a reply. It just runs in a panicked state through the door, and you lose sight of it.
Cool. Well, if they
Well-
bring armed people, then we've got more things to deal with.
So we're here for prisoners, and
We are-
let's just give advance warning to the people holding them. That's such
When
a-
have we ever been here for prisoners?
Well, the
That's
adventurers.
the whole reason we're here.
The
Trying to rescue
well,
people, remember?
there are two reasons. There's the adventurer brother and sister. That you've got the signet ring of
Oh,
one
I
of them.
thought you said that we were trying to get more prisoners, and I'm like, no,
No.
that's never worked out well for us.
This is true.
Well, I've got two prisoners
Anyway,
here.
so Lucky can speak Goblinoid, right?
Eki can speak
Yeah,
goblin.
I want to take Urki into
Right,
this
yeah.
room, and I want to just ask these goblins
You-
quickly, what are you doing here? What is this great big pot?
Okay,
It
basically.
seems pretty clearly live here.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Well, actually,
that
this does not look like this is in a living area. Just to give you a bit more of a description of the area, it doesn't look like this is a living area. In fact, that south western chamber actually has like a big, as you can see, a big bucket, and inside there's loads and loads of vegetation. It's all mushy. You think from what you spied through the room that these two goblins, since they're barefoot and their feet are covered and stained, you think that they were mashing this with their feet, what was in here. And you actually think that this is like one of the early stages of actually making alcohol. They're mushing the hops and everything and grinding it up and grinding it down. So it looks like they were making the beginnings of some alcohol of some sort.
Goblin
Just alcohol.
wine.
As you
Cannot believe
Yeah.
it.
As you do it, these begin. This happened when you were down below Callie, Daniel. So stop, people. Damn it, stop moving. As you're doing that, these two begin to run with their as close to the wall as possible. Begin to run toward the door that the other one left through.
I step this way.
Okay.
Put my hand out.
Okay.
and
They
say-
just both flee into this room and
Good.
they're clearly all terrified of what's going on. Okay. So what do you want Urki to ask these two goblin commoners who are currently cowering in the corner, barefoot, covered in juice?
I want exactly what I said before. What are you making here?
Um,
What is in this barrel?
Eki translates, and after a bit of coaxing, they do actually reply. in common. They're just making wine. That's all they say.
Yeah, that's not too important now. But what is tell us about the mage.
No, I don't even want to know about the mage. I want you to take me to Baylor now.
They continue cowering. They look at each other, but they don't seem particularly convinced.
Sorry,
Belek is his name.
Belek, yeah.
Baylor. God.
Baylor. I don't know. I was.
We
my
do
mind
not
wandered.
want to be taken to a Baylor.
Everyone roll initiative. You're all dead.
D&D's version of a Balrog.
Fun times.
It doesn't look like we have a Gandalf in the party. So
You all go insane until you are dead.
No, I'm secretly Gandalf. I don't know it yet, right?
Yeah, right. Gandalf sleeper agent.
Okay,
Gotcha.
There's another couple of goblins. Make a break for it while you're having this conversation. Is anyone doing anything?
Well, I scouted out a tunnel earlier that was down that way, so I'm gonna walk
There's
over
a
there.
tunnel.
So I'm guessing nobody's doing anything about the fleeing goblins.
I'm
We've
checking
already let
where
some
they're going.
flee. The reinforcements are going to come from somewhere.
Well, yeah, except
Yeah, it's kind of
I
a
also
moot
see
point
this
after we
door
let
up
that
here.
other one go.
They basically open that door and flee through it.
Well, should we find out whether that's the way we should
The
be
conversation is still going on, so that you're kind of following them in that direction. What else are you asking these guys?
Okay, well, so I asked them. I said to both of them, take me to Belek now.
They seem too afraid at the moment to do much of their own relation.
Right, I'm gonna kill this one.
Wow. Okay.
You
You coup de grace the
non-combatant.
The other one just basically is in the corner, terrified. It starts screaming in terror, and crying.
I'm gonna pick him up and I'm gonna throw him to the door. To the
Daniel's
door.
gonna run back at the sound.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Okay, so
These goblins must take us to Belek now.
Or what? You just gonna murder them?
Yes.
I mean, steady on there, Sonny. You know, they haven't picked up arms against us yet, and I prefer my killing to be done for, a reason.
Very well. If you feel that they should be let go, then we can let them go.
Don't get me wrong. I think the goblins
Niacin.
Goblins are, filthy little urchins, but
Niacin. Niacin.
This goblin's making a run.
Niacin.
Yes,
Niacin.
yes, Orkon.
So they're running away, as the couple guys going behind me are doing right now. If they are going to where the Belek guy is, then he might come looking for us. So
we already
bring
saw.
us there.
There are two groups that ran away. One to the left and one to the right. All we have to do at the moment is choose which goblins to follow.
Very well. Lead on.
Well then, Orkon, do you think that we should go to the left or the right, considering? I've seen more of them go to the right than the left.
I'm going to go to the right.
You got the impression they pretty much picked the nearest fucking exit away from you guys, opportunistically, like when the coast was clear.
Let's save our torture for people who are actually violent against us, perhaps.
Yeah, wait a minute though. Couldn't we still I guess he's pretty, traumatized at the moment. Probably not willing to give more information. But there is things we still need to know, right?
Actually, you make a very good point. We should put her out of her misery.
That's not what I was getting at. But
What?
we've already done enough.
Would you
bad
rather we
things.
make other people suffer in the same way that we did Meepo and our unfortunate captives?
I mean, I don't know much about these goblins, but are they raiding the surface, eating people, doing those sorts of things?
You've not heard any notice. I mean, a lot of the farmers around Shadford, they kept their flocks closer to the city, the small town, but
Adrik is racist against goblins.
He is.
He kind of is, yeah.
He kind of is a dick. But
He would execute them sooner than I would. Just saying.
quite possibly. I don't
He broke the ankle of a goblin just to prove a point.
God
Pretty
damn.
much.
Okay, well,
Daniel's not particularly impressed by all of this talk, and
pretend-
he's gonna shout out, the next person who kills or harms an innocent or a prisoner will feel the pointy end of my halberd.
Yeah, pretend
Noted.
Adrik's heard some, words from Paylor or something, and has taken the more laissez-faire approach of, if it holds weapons and arms against you, it dies. But let's.
Okay, before you go any further, Callie, I'm going to describe this room to you.
Sounds perfectly fine to me.
This looks like it's a weapon storage. So they've got 5 scimitars, some short bows, arrows, basic sort of basic weaponry and ammunition that you've seen the goblins equipped with before.
Yay, more scimitars.
Let's not pick these up.
Yeah, I have a better idea though. So this is like ammunition and arms room and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should burn it so that they can't come back here and grab a bunch of weapons.
I don't think there'll be any of them left to come back here once we're finished with this area.
Look,
we were just talking about how we needed enemies to be armed, perhaps it's best if we leave this here rather than.
I mean, you provide a good point, but I'd prefer, they just fucked off like they did there rather than coming back and arming themselves.
How many arrows are there?
There is a point where there's too many enemies with weapons.
About 40.
Oh, good grief.
Round the tunnel.
Who needs
I'm going
arrows?
to take one.
Okay, yeah, you find a tunnel. Basically, it's not actually a tunnel. It's a deep fissure that's been split through the earth. Although it looks like there's a ground... although it looks like there's ground below it, actually it's a deep, deep pit that just plummets into darkness. You can't see the bottom of it. So basically, leaving the room would be a fall to, well, you don't even know how far down it goes.
So this is not a path. This is just
not a path that
straight
you
down.
could follow. I mean,
Wait, where?
It's probably the bathroom.
Possibly.
It is possible.
I mean, they have to go somewhere.
How many arrows did you take, Orkon?
I took one, so I can get
Alright, I'm
going to
take 6 and snap the rest.
Yeah, if there's any, I'm just going to use Sacred Flame and try and burn.
Why don't we
snap
dump
the other
them
weapons.
into the pit?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because we
can
don't
do.
know what's down there. It's easy to just snap them.
Can I
just
before
snap them.
before they dump all that stuff down the pit? I want to throw one of the torches that I put the fungus on down there.
Okay.
To see if it lights up anything interesting.
It does. As the torch spirals down into the darkness, it does illuminate the sides of this chasm. It doesn't get any significantly wider or narrower as it goes down. And as you watch the torch, it goes down, and the light becomes dimmer and dimmer until eventually you just lose sight of it.
Endless chasm.
It certainly goes down a long way. If it does hit the bottom, by now it will be so far away you probably wouldn't even hear it hit the bottom, and you certainly can't see the mediocre light that the fungus produced. In quantities, the fungus can produce a lot of light, but just enough that's shoved in the end of a torch. It's not a huge amount, not at this range. So yeah, this goes down a long way.
Okay. I think throw whatever they want on there.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm going to feel any ill will or sorrow towards some hopeless thing in the Underdark getting impaled by a falling spear. I think we should deal with the weapons that way.
Either way, break them, burn them, throw them down a pit.
You dispose of, in some fashion, the various weapons that are stored inside the chamber. Okie dokie.
Right.
Yeah.
Should I scout ahead, or Orkon, do you want to?
I wouldn't mind scouting
I'm still
ahead.
bearing light.
I'll
Perhaps someone other than our halberdier, I say, sort of looking at you.
I'll sneak forward.
Go on then. Give me a sneaky sneak roll.
Wait a minute. Before you do, let's cast guidance on you for the sake of it.
Well,
I don't think it's needed, especially.
Doing it anyway.
Okay.
Guidance at advantage.
Well, there's no guidance. Doesn't need advantage, but
So you get 20. You get a 29 critical stealth roll.
I think he is one
I
with the
vanish.
shadow.
Even you guys who know where to look struggle to keep track of him as he ventures 5 feet forward.
I'm invisible.
You might as well be at this point. You have a very good feeling that you are remaining incredibly quiet and sticking to the meager shadows. Well, not meager shadows because most of the place is pitch black. Yeah, you stealthing it up. You're stealthing it up, man. Okay. As you exit out into this area, you see that these are... They look like in their heyday, they probably would have been really pleasant. It looks like these are wide open hallways that were specifically designed to have plants growing in them. Now it's a bit dim and dreary, and most of the plants are quite brown. There are bits of fungus here and there, but not much, so it's just enough for dim light. Give me a perception roll.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for any plum helmets here.
Plum helmets. It's not fucking Dwarf Fortress. Well, maybe it is. I don't know.
Orkon has cancelled task stealth, interrupted by plump helmet.
Yes. You are now exclamation mark at the moment.
I think with Dwarf Fortress, the little interactions that happen. Like, I've seen a part where beer gets spilt in a hold, and then a cat will come across, like walk across the beer, and then lick its paws and die of alcohol poisoning.
Awesome.
It's
Brilliant.
It's just so bizarre.
I love the mechanics of a game that's that detailed. That the game knows that this cat is a cat. It licks its paws, and it knows those paws have gone through alcohol, and it knows that this level of alcohol that it's just consumed is lethal for the cat. The fact that it knows all of those steps is great. Okay, Orkon, yeah, you basically don't spot anything of note as you sneak stealthily into the gloomy dark.
All right, cool. Then I will start moving forward a little bit more.
Okay.
Can I still relatively see him before he moves?
Yeah, you see him slip into the darkness and disappear.
Just as he fades out, I telepathically message him to knock 3 times to if there's danger.
I'll think about it.
Okay, stop there, Orkon.
We should follow it to
Go
safe
back.
distance.
Just one square upwards. As you get to about here, you notice hiding behind a bit of plants, a few other bits and bobs, a creature very similar to the creature that you saw. He did not see you, and you only saw him when you'd already passed him. At the moment, he still has no clue that you're skulking around in the darkness.
All right,
He
then I'm
does
going
not
to...
know you're there.
I could try to start up a fight on my own here, but I think I'm going to retreat because I don't think I could take this guy on my own.
Because you now... Okay, if you're going to head back the way you came, I'm going to need you to do another stealth roll.
All right, let's see if I botch this now.
Nope.
That's still pretty good.
That is pretty good.
All right. Don't
Yeah, he
mind
does
me.
not spot you at all. He's there clearly waiting for you guys.
I'll suddenly appear over here. It's like,
Ping!
there's like a guy just around the corner there. I don't think I could take him on my own. Let's
what
go.
kind of guy?
Like the guy we fought with the rats just a few minutes ago.
Fun.
Well.
Sounds fun. And I'm gonna cast a guidance on myself so that I can do the extra pittiness.
Is it just him? Is there no one else around?
That's all I saw. He
Well,
was,
in that case...
He was hiding around the corner, so do be careful. Also, I'm going to switch over to Bo.
Yeah, is he a biggin?
Yes.
Let's
Good.
get cracking. I walk into the room. Wappa-da. Wappa.
I stand on the dwarf.
I'm going to sort of motion to the corner on the right. I guess looking south would be on our right.
I've left him visible for you guys so that you know roughly that's where he's being pointed.
All right, can we actually see him now that he's been pointed out?
You see a shape there, and as you all sort of mill about and start looking over there, he kind of like gets the impression that you've spotted him.
Surprise!
he has this sneaking in suspicion since you're all peering around the corner and one of you's pointing. Yeah, he does get the distinct impression that you have spotted him, and he goes, "Woo! Woo! Ah!" and he just decides to charge, and he doesn't look particularly confident. Yeah, I know.
Before anything else happens... Okay, you've already slashed him. We can always talk to
charging at us.
We could talk to the bugbear.
Well,
Okay.
we doesn't. We can.
He
talk
said he
and
doesn't
fight
look...
Look, we can talk and fight at the same time. It's fine.
We've not proven that.
I mean, negotiations aren't always successful.
He's charged
but...
us. He's gonna die. It's that simple. Unless he actually gets on his knees.
Here we
and
go
puts his
again.
hands
You
up.
don't just get to throw something. I mean, Daniel gets an attack because he's got a reaction skill thing. But
Okay.
you've now got to, let's
Yeah,
be
it's the
reasonable
polearm
to the
master
poor
feat
guy.
means that when somebody enters my reach, I can make an opportunity.
I mean, technically, you don't get reactions until combat started, but I give you the benefit.
Yeah,
of
that's why I
the-
was
Yeah,
confused.
it's because it's reasonable that this
Okay.
happened. You know what I mean? It's reasonable that it happened and that you would get this attack roll.
Well,
It's-
Daniel was anticipating a fight, you know. We knew
exactly.
he was there.
I think we all.
So as it charges in, Daniel takes a swipe at him, gashes him across one of his thighs, but he carries on. He doesn't look particularly happy about fighting you, but he's definitely determined. Unhappy
he's all
and
by
determined.
himself. This guy is committing seppuku here by doing this without backup.
Okay, Callie, what are you doing as this bugbear charges
The
and
first
Daniel
thing I
slashes
do
it?
is telepathically message him, can you speak common? If you can speak common, we can talk about this. You don't look like you want to fight. Maybe we don't have to.
Are you doing
While
anything
also
else?
I take a sidestep over here and prepare an act and hold an action to stab him with a dagger if he continues attacking.
Okay then. You basically stab him if he attacks someone. Okay, that's
Pretty
fine.
much.
Okay. Guess what?
He attacks someone.
He didn't actually technically need to get that close, to be fair, because he's actually got a big sickle stuck on the end of a stick.
Ah, scythe thing.
It's kind of like a primitive glaive.
We'll call it.
Slashes
a
at
hooky boy.
Daniel.
Nah. He needs to get
Right.
better at his polearming.
Yeah, he got a bit too close. He got enthusiastic.
You also got
15.
surprise
No,
bias.
you missed that, unfortunately.
Damn.
Okay. Adrik.
Don't stab him in the leg plate.
Well, I'm gonna go over here and take my warhammer and go for the knees.
Go for the
Oh, what-
knees.
That's actually an advantage, but
See if you get a crit. You get 9 damage
Going for
unless
the
you get a
knees
crit.
is such a dwarf thing.
Actually, mine would have been an advantage too, now that I think about it.
Give me another d20 then, Callie.
You're 1 point of damage.
Mike.
Nope. Hey, I will fight for that 1 point.
It doesn't matter. One is all you actually needed. The 1 extra on the d20 was all you needed to actually hit the stabby of the dagger.
Ah, well.
So you did manage to just nick his side a little bit between 2 gaps in the leather armor that he's got there. The warhammer you
didn't
swing,
notice.
smack him for a bit more. He's looking a bit blooded now. Anything else, Adrik?
throw a couple of racial slurs in there and something about his maw.
Yeah, that's fine. Orkon,
I think it's time to fire my bow.
you like that bow.
Yes.
The
You
arrow,
have an Urky sneaking up behind you, Orkon.
he backstabs
no.
you. Take 27 d6 damage sneak attack.
Yeah,
Darn it.
he's actually secretly a level 17 assassin.
Spoiler alert, Urky is Belek.
Dun dun dun!
I've thought about that.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
I'm just rolling crap
Yeah,
for
you
hitting
miss,
people.
and the arrow scatters out into this arboretum-y thing. Okay, you going to move anywhere? No,
I think
Niacin's just
I'm good.
going to throw an axe.
Let's end this.
He don't give no shits about no turn order. He's just going to fucking go for it. Yeah, the axe wedges in the shoulder, and the bugbear's shield arm goes a bit limp, but he carries on fighting. Shield arm? What am I talking about? His arm that he's waving this glaive around with goes a bit limp, but he's still going for it. He's still going for it. Daniel.
Alright, time to show him how to polearm properly.
Yeah. That definitely is how you polearm.
Expert workshop right there.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's going to glean anything useful from these lessons.
I hope he was taking notes, man.
Okie
Yeah,
dokie.
so, that was a brave sod. A daft sod, but a brave one.
Yeah, he didn't seem too pleased about what he was having to do, but you got the impression it was pretty much the only thing he could think of doing. The fact that he was hiding and trying to get the drop on you was a bit, yeah. As you explore this little open area, you can see there's a little table down at the bottom, a little wheelbarrow. Looks like there's gardening going on here. Although this room itself hasn't got anything that's particularly worth harvesting. Yes, there is a door there. Well done.
Yeah. Ping.
There's also a door down here. Perhaps, since it's closer to the wheelbarrow, it's
Maybe
the
we
most
should kick
important
all
one.
three open simultaneously.
Can
Yeah,
I,
actually,
before
let's
you
do
do
that.
that, can I search his
Let's
body?
do that.
No,
You
let's
wanna,
not do that.
You want to search his body? Okay.
Yeah, just to see if there's anything of all
Check his
interesting.
pockets.
Okay. Well, she.
She.
Yeah,
Okay.
she has a potion. You immediately recognize this as a potion of healing. Because
Sweet.
they're quite
Nice.
common items. In as far as magic items go, they're very common. Well, actually, technically, my potions of healings in this world aren't
We got two of those
technically
now.
magical.
Yeah.
They
Doesn't
are.
Adrik have the other one?
Yes, I think he
Yeah,
does.
I have
So
one.
you take this one,
Wait a minute,
Daniel.
Melik, are you saying that magic items are occasionally affordable in your world?
What I'm saying is that technically
What?
healing potions in my world.
Ludicrous.
No, healing potions in my world technically aren't magical. You can identify them in a similar way, but they are ultimately just herbal mixtures of stuff. Very well made herbal mixtures of stuff, but ultimately that's what they are. The plants
Anyway.
used may be slightly magical, but they themselves technically aren't. Anyway, so that's all you basically find.
So is Operation Triple Kick a go?
What the fucking people?
What's the hit die you get for? What's the things for?
It
healing
is a
potions?
normal. Was it 2d4?
2d4 plus 2, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the standard amount.
Yeah. Sure, let's do Operation Door Kickers because
Seriously, guys.
backfire.
Adrik, lead us away.
2.
I think this is insane.
Boot.
No, that's not a good idea.
No, it's not,
It's
but
of
it's
course
still
it's
hilarious.
not, but let's do it.
Okay, Niacin, are you doing it?
Yeah, I've definitely done it.
Adrik, are you doing it?
Yeah.
And what about you, Callie?
I'm up for it. 1, 2, 3, boosh!
Okay.
Adrik's taught us some good
Can't believe we
door
just did
kicking
that.
skills.
Daniel's just standing in the middle, looking rather
I'm
exasperated.
really
Go
hoping
from being very stealthy to the least stealthy option possible.
I'm really hoping that
Callie, before we go any further, Callie, you get surprise on the contents of your room. Feel free to move yourself one to the right so you can fully see the contents of the room because you kind of kick it open. There are 3 civilian-y looking goblins and an armed goblin that hasn't... It's like mid-door kick. The door hasn't even hit the ground yet. The goblin, you can see one of its ears twitch as it hears your boot against the other side of the door. You have one action you can perform now if you wish before the goblin knows you're there properly.
Ooh, baby.
So if this action is an attack, you will get advantage as a surprise.
Fuck it. Let's go for it. I'm just gonna shoot and ask questions first. Later. That's the one.
Yeah, later's definitely... If you're shooting now, then everything is later. Okay, you unleash Eldritch Blast at the goblin, instantly flash frying it. And I'm not even going to bother with initiative. That's why I didn't bother with initiative at that point, because it's like, yeah, you basically just kicked open the door and you went, and you... And that was it.
Brilliant.
Just like immediately.
Like
The other...
kicking 3 doors open at once, I would not have been surprised if it's like roll for initiative and it just stops.
Yeah, I was really hoping
And
that one of
filling
the
up.
doors would be like a pit of owlbears that were all looking hungry.
Or each room had like 3 goblins in it or something, because that would potentially have been not like potentially
I don't know,
deadly.
9 goblins. Is
It
that
could have been
magical?
dangerous.
Yeah, Callie would have got
Yes.
swarmed by 3. Adrik would have been probably fine with 3, although he's faced 3 simultaneously before and not fared well.
Although, if the doors are like small enough, we can just block the doors off, and they shouldn't.
It's
really
like
be
Niacin
able
could just
to,
go
like,
full bear.
swarm us.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Adrik
why I
can
wasn't
stand
worried.
his ground. And then between Orkon and Daniel, it's like you just clear them off one group at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, we did always know that some, the goblins that ran off would be probably in here.
True.
Somewhere around here. You haven't seen any
After
evidence
which-
of them at the moment.
I peer in and then telepathically ask if any of these goblins speak common. A terrifying demon just attacked their friend.
And, well, I mean, yeah, they're not 100% sure what the fuck happened. Basically, apart from... Okay, well, firstly, that one cowers behind something that's like a quarter of its size, thinking that it's hiding. That one also flees into the corner. That one just kind of quivers in fear, but actually kind of nods at your telepathic message. So the middle one nods.
Fantastic. Would you object to helping us, and we'll leave you all alone.
He kind of
And
looks
be
at
very
the
much
other
on our
two,
way.
and the other two pretend they don't exist, even though they clearly do. And it kind of like looks back at you, slightly puzzled. You know that it understood what you said, but you're guessing that it's puzzled that it's not dead.
We are looking for an apple and 2 of our friends. They're adventurers, you see. We've heard that your friend Bellic has them. Do you think that you could help us out with this and possibly lead us to him?
I know where Bellic is. The north, go the other way.
Oh, that's where he is? Would you mind taking us there, or is that too much to ask?
Starts shaking the head, like, quite aggressively. Like, clearly the thought of going to Bellic terrifies this goblin.
Okay,
Yeah.
don't worry.
We got instructions. I think we're good.
He's to the north, then.
And he nods and points to the other end.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm terribly sorry about the fate of your comrade there, and I hope that you all stay safe.
Fucking hell.
Wow.
Orkon, what are you doing?
politely shut the door behind you.
Exactly. After a little coy wave.
Yeah, shut the door and yeah.
I mean,
Right, I'm gonna step into this room.
that was one of the most surreal things that I think's happened so far.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Very well done.
I'm going to go with Adrik next, because that's just the order of the rooms that I'm following.
Yeah, what's in here?
Okay, there's lots and lots of greenery. Basically, there's a hell of a lot of moist mist, if you know what I mean. It's quite a humid room. There's lots and lots of that moss, that fungus everywhere that's producing quite a lot of light. And there's a lot of like herbs and plants and things like that, all growing around in this room.
Right.
Give me a perception roll.
Is that for blights? Because if there's blights and because if this room resembles basically the first bit we're in, yeah, I'm gonna keep my eyes
all
open
of these rooms have lots of plants in various states of leafy and not leafy. Blights. I mean, to be honest, there could have been blights all throughout that last little.
Oh, that wasn't meant to be with advantage, but that doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Does it not? It doesn't matter in this particular occasion. Okay, you notice that there's some movement down to the south amongst some of the other plants. You're not sure what it is, but it's something's moving around that you can't see.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna look back to the door and say, little backup here, and I'm gonna throw a sacred flame in the direction of the movement.
Okay.
It's gonna burn it from existence. Okay.
Yep.
So roughly where? I mean, I would say that it's somewhere in the middle. I mean, roughly where it is. I mean, you throw a
It's the
sacred
candle
flame.
flame.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you basically.
Sacred tea light.
Yes, it is the sacred tea light. The secret spluttering tea light. You know, the one that just won't stay fucking lit.
Yep. There's always one.
Yeah, there is always one.
Well,
It set fire to a couple of leaves in the corner, and they fizzle out because there's no other flammable plants nearby.
Does it reveal anything?
Not really. No, that was pretty feeble, to be honest.
Well, I'm gonna keep throwing sacred flames in the kind of general direction until eventually the source of the movement is revealed.
Okay, it doesn't take long for you to get a nice fire going. The movement you can't now tell where it is because you can hear the sound of fire. Smoke begins to billow up into the... There's quite a high ceiling.
Does it seem like this entire room is going to light up?
You get the impression that this room may very well now catch, now that you've kept throwing sacred flames into the vegetation.
I'm shutting the door behind me. I'm going out of the room and shutting the door.
So you just randomly set fire to a herb garden, and then you're just going to close the door.
You've told me there was movement in there. I'm
Yeah, there
assuming
was.
it's bad things. So
There's probably a friendly pixie.
Whatever it's got is going to deal with the fire now.
Yep.
That was not what I wanted to do. What the hell?
I mean, I am shutting the door. So
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
fine.
coming up from the room to the south, and we're like, okay, that was real back there. What the hell's going on over there?
Adrik?
didn't
Is
worry
everything
about
okay?
it.
Started
Whatever
in
it
garden
was,
fire.
it's gonna be dealt with in I'd say 5 minutes.
Cool. We found out from a goblin friend down south that Bellic appears to be to the north.
Oh my god, you guys. Just, there's movement! Burn the garden!
I am very aware
That is
that
also
previous
quite an Adrik thing to do.
previous
It
gardens,
is.
previous gardens have had bad things in them. I'm not taking the chance it was a friendly.
I just love the fact that you spammed Sacred Flame
Just a bit
rather
of
than, like,
weeding.
more light.
I mean, you've pruned it. Just prune back the vegetation with Sacred Flame.
Hey, brush fires are healthy for any garden. They help get rid of old growth and refresh the soil.
I mean, if you're a redwood tree, then maybe, but
I mean,
What, you don't have a redwood in your garden?
not in this.
Damn
It's not my garden.
Philistines.
Right.
Okay, Niacin, please bring some sanity to this madness.
But I want to bring more madness to this
Oh,
madness.
fine, okay. Maybe it'll cancel out the other set of madness. This room that you enter is very much like the room below you. Clearly it was originally going to be lots of vegetation. It's all brown and crap now because they haven't put the fungus around the walls. You can just about in the distance see that there's a wheelbarrow and another bench in the distance. Other than that, you see nothing.
I'm gonna go grab the wheelbarrow.
Okay.
Are we looting stuff that we need a wheelbarrow for?
I'm going to bring it back to the main, to what, like the room where we entered, and
Okay.
so
I was
that
going to
we've
say,
got
I
somewhere.
don't think now's the time.
Well, we've got somewhere to store all the crap.
Is
we're
this
gonna
like
collect.
a go fetch sort of scenario? Did somebody teach our half-orc a new trick?
I'm learning.
I'm not sure whether this is a good learning, but I mean, it's certainly.
Hang on,
you've
have you just
learnt
wandered
something.
off on your own?
Yes,
Yep.
I have.
Oh.
Okay, let's see where you've gone off to, just in case, because I can pick what murders you.
Yay.
Okay, so far you haven't encountered anything of any note. Give me a perception
Excellent.
roll, though, as you pass through this hallway of marble pillars.
I'll give Daniel a shrug.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
good
well,
enough to spot the things, because since nobody actually asked me what was on the tables, I'm going to just describe what's on the fucking tables. There's various equipment for the processing of plants, there's various gardening implements, various herbal implements. You notice with your proficiency with herbalism kits. There's other apparatus as well, which is not something you're necessarily familiar with. But you think this might be some useful stuff here.
Oh.
You think that
well, it's on my shirt and such.
Yeah, at a glance, you think from just the tables around here, you could probably put together enough bits to create a herbalism kit.
Excellent. I'm gonna.
Daniel's
do that.
going to respond to Orkon. Like, I know orcs have green fingers, but I didn't realise they were that keen.
Well, hey, maybe we'll get something useful out of this.
Well, they're not
maybe
orcs.
the goblins still have something.
They're goblins, and the goblins don't have.
No, he's talking about Niacin
He
running
means
off with a
me.
wheelbarrow in the
Oh,
middle of the
fuck.
dungeon.
You did just run off. Yeah, no, good point. Good point.
That's what we were all riffing on just there.
God damn it. Okay, so yeah, you could add a herbalism kit to your
Sweet.
whatever you. You also although I don't know whether you are proficient, but you don't technically need to. You also notice with your nature check and your herbalism check, you think you could also put together enough stuff to get a healing kit as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so add a healing kit to your equipment as well.
Okay.
Schnezzy.
As I say, you're just looking at the tables and you're picking bits and bobs and you're putting them in bags that you found, and yeah, you put together a herbalism kit and a healer's kit.
Is there anything in the surrounding rooms that I can search through?
Okay,
Or is it just
Can
in
you
this
bring
main
me
room?
the rat?
I can bring you the rat.
Fucking hell.
Please.
Okay,
No, I'll fetch you that.
the rat is strapped down. I said it was nailed earlier, but it's just strapped down to a table. It's still alive. It's got horrible growths all over it.
Yeah.
Give me a nature check. You don't know what the hell these things are. You've not seen an illness like this before. It looks like it's in a bit of pain. It's squirming around. Or maybe it's just because it's strapped to a bloody table and there's a strange orc peering at it. But yes, either way, it looks pretty nasty. What also you find in this room, just underneath, because the table's kind of like got a lower level to it, underneath, you also see that there's a little bottle, a little container, crystal vial, and there's some sort of liquid inside. You do not know what this liquid is. Though the crystal vial does look like it might be worth something. You don't know how much the contents would be, though, because you don't know what the contents are.
So the vial is below the table. Does it look like there's something coming from the table dripping into the vial?
No, it's clearly just for
It's
storage.
just
There's
storage,
various other
okay.
things. Yeah, you don't know what's in the vial, but there's a few other bits and bobs, like some calipers and there's some little nails and leather straps and other miscellaneous.
Were you gearing up for a milking rats quote, Wiz?
I have no idea what these goblins were up to.
Surprise!
No, it's a sealed vial.
Milking rats!
You won't want to milk this, right? It's covered in all kinds of horrible
Right,
shit.
so there's leather straps, nails, and pliers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shall I take all those?
No,
I
it might
mean-
tempt people to start torturing things.
Oh, fuck. No, they're not worth anything of any significance. I mean, they're just there because clearly it helps them strap diseased rats to tables. And it's squealing
It's
away.
a common occurrence in this neighborhood.
Yeah, you don't know
Well,
why the hell it's
apparently
strapped
in this
there.
emergent community, like it's a big business. You know, they got a room dedicated to it right next to the brewing.
The only other
Okay,
thing
well-
that you notice as well is that in one of the other rooms, the top middle room, you also see that there's a load of wooden barrels, 1 litre little barrels. From the smell that's coming off them and spilled liquids, it smells vaguely alcoholic, and it's kind of like a winey type thing. You're guessing that that's what they were making in the bottom left room, and they're sort
Right.
of they've fermented it, so it's some kind of crude goblin wine. You're guessing.
Okay, well, I'm
Ooh,
gonna
bring
take.
some for Adrik.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the little vial.
Mark it down in the party loot as the crystal vial,
Party
and then put in brackets rat, because it
Crystal
was
vial
found
rats.
underneath
Okay,
the rat.
there we are.
And then yeah, there
Perhaps we
are
should keep
dozen
moving,
barrels.
He can catch up.
Yeah. So it's like, do we wait for him to get back, or should we get going?
No,
well-
Daniel's itching to get moving.
Okay, while
Right,
Niacin's
Oh,
doing that.
now he's a party member. Come on, let's wait.
Yeah.
For him.
No, he can catch up. Seriously.
Okay.
Shall I take some of the what's clearly goblin wine in my water skin?
I mean, you could fill up your water skin if you
mean
want.
you'll be-
I mean, it doesn't.
Yes.
Doesn't
You want to
smell particularly
put
great.
goblin wine in your
For
water skin?
Yeah,
Adrik, not for me. He's
You
drunk
could
as
carry.
fuck.
It's only small 1 gallon barrels. You can put
Oh,
one
okay,
under
then I'll
each
just
arm
carry
if
a
you
barrel.
wanted, and they're fine. You wouldn't want to
Yeah.
add them to your party loot necessarily, but you can move them from place to place really easily.
Alright, I'll bring them with me.
Cool.
So you got two gallons of goblin wine.
There, Adrik, I found some more of that disgusting smelling liquid you seem to
I
like.
mean, it wasn't disgusting smelling, unless you're describing alcohol in general.
Did he really drink that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, and he liked it.
Yeah, he liked it. He almost took damage, but it was fine. He
He rolled
somehow...
a nat 20 on the Constitution check, so he actually liked it, and his stomach accepted it.
No, nobody knew what would happen if he failed, so there's no suggestion he would have actually taken damage. But you know, that was just to see did he like it, and yes, his stomach agreed with it. I don't know either.
I don't get the intricacies of
There is none.
Foxy's gameplay.
There isn't any intricacy
I
of his
don't think
gameplay.
there's much intricacy.
I think the fact that you're searching for intricacy is a sign that you don't get it.
Yeah, probably.
It's like searching for hairs on the palm of your hand is the sign of madness, and having them is
Right.
the blah
Alright,
blah.
Anyway-
Daniel's slightly
Anyway, I'm gonna
irritated
leave
about
them
standing
here.
around. while
Yeah,
somebody's messed around with a
I'm
wheelbarrow.
gonna
so
assume,
he's-
I'm gonna assume the fire's going nicely and that the room can take care of itself.
There's
so-
smoke seeping out from behind the door.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
you're
I-
Yeah,
I-
Daniel's gonna
Let's
kick
keep
the door
moving.
that he's next to.
Right, we're
Okay.
gonna leave the barrels
You
here.
kick
can
the door
celebrate
open.
with the wine afterwards.
Now these particular skeletons immediately dislike you.
Oh no!
I bet they do.
Oh,
Fun times.
no!
Oh god.
Are they not surprised that I just kicked the door open?
Okay. I mean, I tell you what, you can get 1 action but no movement, so that technically for you might actually apply.
I can see it when he opened the door. Can I get an action?
No, because he's the one doing the kicking.
Fair.
Alright, well, can I hit that
Respect.
one that's within range?
Yes, you can. As I'd say, it's because of you, you might get one in range.
Oh dear.
Yeah, a 12. It's not great, is it?
No.
Okay. Well, you'll be unsurprised to know that you miss. But that's fine. Okay. So let's initiative these guys up.
Are these ones farming as well, or are these ones actually armed properly?
These ones are actually they do have farming implements, but they're clearly originally geared for combat, and they've just been given this task. They immediately draw short swords. They also have some really crappy bits of armor as well.
They weren't going to attack us with shovels. That's saddening.
You know, they've moved up from the farming world. You know, they've been promoted. You know, they've earned their way. And
no, this is the opposite of what you're supposed to do. You turn your swords into plowshares, not the other way around.
That's only if you've conquered everything worth conquering. These ones, they're still ambitious.
Apparently so.
Yeah, because there's so much more to conquer in a godforsaken ruin.
Okay.
I mean, you don't.
This skeleton's going to get to there.
Have CB will conquer.
That's an opportunity to. Ah, that's a better hit.
Yeah, you smack it one, but it seems unconcerned of its 3 missing ribs as it gets to about there and slashes at you with a short sword.
What do we do for armor class tallies?
It beats it.
That's a hit.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, it's like same with DCs. If you equal, then it succeeds. Your armor class is effectively a DC to a skill. The skill being trying to smack you in the face.
Fair enough. No, some people go advantage defender or advantage attacker.
Well, that's made up homebrew stuff, that is. Okay, the other skeleton's gonna have to wait for Callie.
Yep, and I'm gonna look at the skeleton that's closest to that I saw through the doorway and be like, "Blow!"
So, wow. What are you gonna do to it again?
Blow!
The one that's just attacked Daniel, yeah?
No, the one that I didn't see. So that's actually a 15. Sorry about that. I accidentally kept rolling at advantage.
Yeah, 15. That's not too bad though. It's plenty. I mean, the 15 on its own is enough to hit, let alone the extras you get. So you only do 5 points of damage, but that's acceptable.
Sweet.
It hits the skeleton and singes a few of its bones. They blacken. A couple of them crack a little bit, but otherwise doesn't seem particularly concerned because, you know, it's mindless.
There's lots of them, guys. Let's get in there.
Okay, this just blithely wanders up to there. This wide door is wide enough.
Are we back to the skeleton conga line?
Yes.
God, through doorways again.
It's honestly, Daniel, you just love fighting in doorways, man. I know you're the one person that does not want to fight in a doorway. But it doesn't matter. Dear. Daniel, it is now your turn to retaliate. Because you're in a doorway, no smashing things. With the.
No, I'm gonna hit the one above.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't hit.
I think I hit the door for him.
I think you probably did.
Yeah, you gotta put the halberd through the door, not over your head.
It's fine. That door was a suspected mimic, so you know you're doing.
Actually, I know
you showed it one.
What it is, you know, you knocked 3 of its ribs out with your further attack. You hit exactly the same spot. Right. You staying there, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm done.
Niacin. You hear the clatter of bones and zappy zap
and I
smacky smack.
see some skeletons attacking my party mate Daniel.
Yeah, they seem to be not doing quite as well as he has, but they've exchanged blows.
Well, regardless.
The one above, the
one I can see to the north.
Okay, you throw the axe, it spins through the air, and it just cleaves its spine in two, and the remains of its bones collapse on the ground, mingling with the vegetation.
Is it trying to crawl away or something?
No, it's pretty deanimated now. Its bones have separated. It's done. It's done for. You doing anything else?
Axe gonna give it to you.
No, actually, I will move up. I will move there.
Okay. Orkon.
I think it's time to shoot this guy.
Go on then. Shoot the crap out of him. Okay, you let loose an arrow, and it hits it straight in the eye socket, and it punches a hole through the skull and out the back, and then it lodges in its head. It doesn't kill it because, you know, there's nothing in there, but it certainly's bothered it to a point of it's a bit unsteady on its feet now. But otherwise, yeah, it's going to carry on attacking.
I've bothered it.
Does it hit the one behind it?
No, not from that angle it isn't. And anyway, it's lodged in the skull. It didn't go all the way through.
Okay. Oh, lodged in the skull, sorry.
Oh, wait, Niacin, did you bring that rat?
Oh, yes, I wanted to say what I was going to do with the rat. Shit.
I will take a step forward, too, so.
Oh, sorry, okay, yeah.
Shall we go over that now or later?
Probably after
Later.
the fight, probably.
We're in the middle of combat. Let's kill skeletons first.
The skeletons don't know about flanking, they just mindlessly attack. So this one attacks Daniel. Doesn't really do anything. Adrik.
Well,
You slow-ass dwarf.
oi, you lay off Milksop. Right. Knowing about the rules of flanking and being the best ever, I'm going to hit it with my Stick of Truth.
Mm-hmm.
If the Stick of Truth would want to actually do its thing.
Okay, the Stick of Truth rings true. And you twice. I'll take the first one. Yeah, your bludgeoning attack certainly is quite effective, but not effective enough to take down the skeleton, though. Its bones do seem to be rattling a little bit.
Damn it. I knew I shouldn't have brought the Stick of Truth, and I should have used the Stick of Killing.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll learn you.
Callie, what are you going to do as these skeletons slowly emerge? Ah, which one?
One of them.
Okay. The blast does connect with whichever one it is that you're aiming at, but you just don't seem to get enough oomph out of it, and it just kind of passes between some of the ribs, and it doesn't seem to do anything.
Damn.
I know. You doing anything else?
That's a good question. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move down here once. Yeah. Just down there.
Alright. The skeleton that attacked Daniel through the doorway continues to do so. Oh!
Ooh.
A nice amount of damage.
Gets a lucky shot as Daniel is distracted by the other one.
I'd just like to point out the only things that have done damage to me in this entire dungeon have been skeletons.
This is true.
And
Wait, the rats. Yeah, the rats.
Oh yeah.
Oh
and the
yeah,
rats.
mind you,
The rats really did a number on you.
The
Yeah,
little,
that's the worst
Krupp's
damage.
crit rats there.
So
You
basically
still
what you're
got those
saying,
bite marks on your arms.
any humanoids or sapient creatures have done nothing to you. But all the basically either mindless or animals have been really chewing on you quite nicely. Awesome.
Yeah, it's just the non-mundane things that'll get you.
What are you gonna do now, Daniel?
Let's smack this one that's just above me.
Okay.
I've got an advantage. Oh.
Give me 2 more d20s.
There's 2 of them for you.
Well, not today.
Yeah,
Well, I've got a +5 to hit. So one
yeah,
of them.
the first one, both of them hit, and you shatter the one that's above you to tiny little bits of bone. Adrik gets a few flakes of bone on his armor, but yeah, you don't care. Right, I'm assuming
It's
you're all done.
fashionable.
Niacin.
Hang on, still trying to get my bearings. There we go. Okay, I'm back in the game.
Get your ball bearings.
Yeah, the one in the doorway.
Okay, you throw the axe, and it bloody hits. It doesn't destroy it, but it certainly knocks one of its arms off. Unfortunately, it's not the one
I
that's...
should have healed him. Oh well.
Unfortunately, it's not the one that's holding the short sword. It's the other one that was doing fuck all. But you still feel satisfied that you've partially dismembered it now.
Yes.
So that was a good thing.
I'm actually landing my axe hits.
Yeah, this session's been really good for your axes.
It has.
Up is down.
And Daniel's taking damage. I mean, what is going on?
I don't know.
The world is inverted.
Yeah, because
God.
Adrik isn't.
Yep.
I haven't taken a single hit so far.
That's a lie. Didn't you get hit by bugbears? No, you almost got hit by bugbears, and they failed miserably. Up is down right now. What's happening?
Orkon was the only one hit, I think.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
My turn to shoot things?
I think it's your time to shoot things.
Wonk.
Nope.
Never mind.
Scatters off into the room. Does nothing.
I'll move forward a little bit closer.
I don't think that's going to help your aim,
I know, right? But I'm gonna hope.
You hope as much as you want. Adrik.
Right. Can I actually squeeze through the door there, or is the door kind of
Yeah,
just
you can.
like...
You can slip through the door.
Yeah,
Some
in that
skeleton
case,
managed to squeeze.
I'll do this.
Yeah,
and
it's all
using my-
bone though, isn't it? You know, it's thin.
Yeah, and using my sneaky dwarven
he's-
cunning, I'll hit it in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
He's,
no, I
he's
won't.
a dwarf. He just goes
Not-
between Daniel's
Not-
legs.
Not even.
I mean,
not even
come
with
on.
You see, my problem was that I tried sneaky dwarven cunning.
Yeah, and dwarves are neither sneaky nor cunning.
Yep.
Callie,
You should have stopped
Show 'em how
going
it's
for its
done.
knees.
there you go. So
There we go.
Callie does what Adrik failed to do, and to separate every part of the skeleton from every other part of the skeleton as it flies in all directions, and just that's it. It's gone. It's dead. It is over.
Alright. I'm gonna move a bit back now and kind of take a look at the room and spy it for suspicious bushes.
There's lots of bushes in there.
Suddenly 4 fires.
Suddenly a man in a coat jumps up and opens his coat and he's got nothing on underneath, and then disappears behind a bush. Basically,
By the
this
way-
is very similar to the other room that you set fire to.
Is
Other than
there no movement there?
give me a perception roll. Anybody who's in the room, give me a perception
Here,
roll.
I'll come in and perceive. Perhaps.
Oh, I got a nat 20. Oh, wait a minute. I'm still rolling advantage.
I got a nat
No,
20.
I don't. I don't get a nat 20.
Okay, the person who genuinely got a nat 20, rather than the person cheating, you notice that you get a good roll on your advantage when you don't actually have advantage.
Yeah, I thought I disappointed myself too there.
You look around this room and you don't hear or see anything out of the ordinary. You see plenty of bushes and shrubs around that, I mean, they could be those horrible little plant things. You don't really know for certain. None of them seem to be moving, so you're guessing you're fine until one of them decides to move and then you're not. But you don't know. You don't think there's anything dodgy going on. What you do think is this is like the other room. Unlike the other room, this is not on fire. But similar to the other room before it was on fire, it's got various herbs, plants. Mostly it's stuff for herbal stuff, as Niacin will recognise. It was being tended to in a crude fashion. All these plants, although they are growing and they're growing all right, again, the lack of actual sunlight has made them a little bit crapper.
Are there any like cooking herbs in there or anything like that?
Probably.
Like,
do you have proficiency with cooking tools, or do you have nature that you can
damn
give me a
straight
roll?
I do. I've got cooking. I've got cook's utensils.
Okay,
I
if
will point
you
out-
got proficiency with the cooking utensils.
Yes, I do.
Oh, awesome. Yes, you notice there's quite a few herbs in here that have double uses. Some of them are quite spicy herbs. A couple of them are sort of standard things that are not basil and things like that, but they're similar. They have similar effects on the senses to improve.
It's the Hobbit fulfilling the stereotype.
Damn straight.
Yeah, you can
I
go
would
around
like
and you
to,
can collect about a pound's worth of mixed herbs.
I'm going to state that the herbs are probably all cursed, so you do need to be careful.
I have faith that my lord will protect me.
I'm not convincing at all.
No, yeah, you do. But then again, that's 8 on a critical fail. That's pretty impressive still, though.
I don't suppose anybody could patch me up a bit.
Oh, poor Daniel.
How many points are
Ooh.
you down?
I'm down 11.
Not basil.
Could burn a healing spell on you if you want.
Yeah, well, that's that. My choice is Good Berry or Cure Wounds. I would get a guaranteed 10 HP from Good Berry. Cure Wounds is a little bit more dicey. I don't remember how much healing Adrik does though.
He does get the +3. He gets the Let me just
Healers
get it up.
of domain thing.
He gets a lot of good
doesn't
things.
Urki
He's got
also
life
heal?
domain.
Yeah, he gets a D8 plus Wisdom +3, and Wisdom is he gets a D8 +6 in total.
I think Urki can heal. 1 second.
Yeah. Because
So,
I've
the
noticed he's
cure-
not been healing this time, and I'm like, Urki, help us out, man. Daniel's taken a bit of a battering from some bones. Would you mind healing him up, patching him up real quick?
He actually can.
Excellent.
There you go.
Beautiful.
That doesn't actually
Um,
roll the
You
heal.
haven't actually rolled.
Was there a roll? I was gonna say, yeah.
God damn it. Stupid gnome.
Do you want me to roll, and then we'll just say that's his roll? I don't
No.
know.
Well, we don't
No,
know
no,
what
no,
his
no.
Yeah,
casting
mind you,
modifier is.
yeah,
we don't
that's
know
what
what
I
his
was just
wisdom modifier
realized.
is, yeah.
There you go, have 3 hit points. That was awful.
That was a pretty shit one.
Hooray!
Yeah.
God.
Thanks.
That was awful. Damn it, Urky.
That's 1 stab wound. 2 to go.
Right, I'm just gonna burn a spell. It's fine.
That's much better.
Hey, totally fixed.
Yeah.
Very nice. Right, folks, it looks like we need to keep going up because the intelligence that we have suggests that Bellic is further north.
Hold on a sec. I want to just quickly search for, like, any secret hidden passageways
Alright,
on the flat walls.
Be careful
All that's
there.
here is delicious, not basil.
I mean,
Could-
there's
yes,
other
I know.
herbal
Spiky
things.
bushes could strike at any time.
I'm not searching the room's contents. I just want to search the walls to see
Give
if there's
me
passageways.
if it's specifically checking that wall, you can give me an investigation or a perception, whichever you want, really. Whichever you think you're best at. Okay, you scan your eyes over the wall, looking for anything that's out of place, little seams, gaps, places where the mortar isn't particularly well secured, or protruding bricks, and you don't see anything that would suggest there's a secret panel, door, or button.
Good enough for me. Let's continue.
Right, let's go, folks. I got some
Adrik.
good spices out of that.
Perhaps
Adrik.
Orkon could scout ahead again.
Very well.
If we find any more not so sneaky bugbears.
Adrik, do you want to kick the door down?
Just to be safe, shall we incinerate this room as well?
I was gonna do that whether or not you
Just close
suggested
the
it.
door.
No, I'm doing it. Sacred
Fine.
flame.
You easily. You don't even need to cast
He's got
it.
to try and keep Foxy's character as
Yeah,
true to
this is
form as
the-
possible.
This is the easiest bit that doesn't hurt me to roleplay out.
That's fine. It hurts you
So-
now that you can't get out. Oh shit! No, you just moved just as I sealed the door.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Sealed forever.
There you go. That's better.
No.
as
Oh well.
the flames lick around your tender.
Take
flail,
my
isn't
hand, Adrik!
it?
Ah.
Okay.
Alright.
So what's the plan, guys?
I think we're gonna have
door-kicking
Orkon go
part
sneaky
7.
scouty.
No,
Yes,
okay.
yes, that's what I'll have Orkon do.
I
Alright.
will very carefully open the door.
Wait, I'll give you some guidance as well. If I could get my character
and
sheet
then
back
start
up.
getting stealthy on the way on the far side if unless it's something really obvious that's gonna kill us on the other side.
Guidance.
And then a bit more and a D4 guidance. 13. Okay. You carefully open the door and sneak forward with your brightly glowing party members behind you. Okay, you find a room very, very similar to the other 2 rooms. This one's basically just a farm for the fungus. There's no actual normal plants in here. It is just that fungus. It's a rather bright room, shall we say. There's various.
There's not much room for anything else.
There's not much room for anything else. No, this is true. There are various other old plants that used to be in here, dead. But other than that, the fungus seems to have pretty much taken over the whole of this room.
Manti, that last pun broke the mold.
Oh dear.
I'm such a fun guy to be with.
No, that's a terrible
know,
one.
right?
No, we can't use the fun guy one. That's just the worst.
Yeah, then you'd have to.
Hi, Faye!
Just spore us anymore, okay?
Ooh, that was good. That was good. I'm liking that one.
Oh no.
All right, I'm
I
gonna.
must stop now.
I'm gonna sneaky along the wall here.
Okay, you sneaky along the wall.
Oh, I forgot about the rat.
Okay, stop about there, Orkon.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you should stop about there. I think everyone should stop about where they are. I think everyone should roll initiative. And I'm going to reveal.
Hey.
You didn't look out for the spiky bushes.
My wisdom's
Nope.
not that great. Oh, the room's full of them.
Finally, the rogue got a good initiative roll.
Yeah, you're in Shit Creek there.
Oh, they see all of you. I mean, you just opened the door, And
Yeah, I know,
there's a
but
stud
he's-
there. Yeah, he's all
like
on his
in
own.
the middle of enemy lines.
Yeah, he's yeah. So let me roll some initiatives, shall I?
No, actually, don't.
Well, I'm gonna. You can't stop me.
So should have moved over
Don't
to my
stop
rapier.
him
but-
now, cause he's rolling some initiative. Yeah, he's rolling them all. Don't stop him now if you want to roll initiative. Just give him a call.
Please stop. Please. I beg of you.
But he doesn't want to stop at all.
I don't want to stop at all.
Why do I do this? Fuck's sake. And what I am actually going to do, since I've been neglecting doing this because he's kind of been lurking at the back as a support character, I am actually going to do this.
Oh, does it call for some Urky initiative?
Okay.
Urk, don't give it to you.
Right. You all see pretty obviously that these twigs, these little bushes that are between all the funguses, these little dead trees and stuff, they start to animate, start to move, start to wake up. They look like they've been woken up by the movement of Orkon. They see him, they see you, you see them. Callie, what are you going to do? They look angry. Oh wow, you're going to just fucking get straight in there. Against which one?
That one.
Okay, you unleash hell, and you don't even know what happens to the wood that constitutes its body because it's gone. It's just
explodes.
It's just gone. There's nothing left.
There's a vague popping sound as where it was just fills up with air.
Yeah, whatever it was, it isn't anymore.
Suddenly there is a cloud of sawdust.
Pretty much. Okay. Is that it, Callie? Are you just going to open up with that and just like job done?
Yep.
That's it. It's not going to get better than that.
I'm just going to brush my hands off and be like, yep, your turn, guys.
Orkon, you are suddenly now surrounded on most sides either by walls or angry bushes. What are you going to do?
I am going to... well, I could try to retreat here real quick.
It knows you're there. It's spotted you.
But I think I'll brave it out. I got full hit points. Surely I won't get killed easily, right? I'll drop my bow, pull the rapier, and make an attack.
Go for it. Okay, you stab at the nearest evil bush, and you poke it with the rapier, but its barky surface just deflects the blow, and it doesn't seem to do any damage.
Oh, yes, they're made out of trees, aren't they?
They are made of kind of woodeny stuff. I mean, you feel like if it had penetrated the wood, it would have done really well, but unfortunately it didn't. Are you moving anywhere before Niacin has his go?
I will move here. Use my if need be, I can use my cunning action or whatever it is.
Yes. Okay. Niacin. You spot what you can do. Lots and lots of these evil bushes, shrub things, start rising
the blight
up.
has struck again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move up here. Oh, there's more blight. Well, these ones are more threatening. They're right on Orkon, so I'm gonna. Don't see any. Oh, there's a door. Okay. I'm going to throw a hand axe at this guy.
Go for it.
If I can find it.
Oh yeah, you fling that axe and it flies true, and it doesn't see it coming, and it just shatters it into splinters.
Maybe it's just that Wiz's axes just seek wood.
Yeah, I think so. They've been honed over years. Yeah. So
you've actually just stole a bunch of lumberjacks' hatchets.
And I'm going to retreat back here.
Okay. Adrik, your companion, is surrounded.
He's fine. Also, I'm not sure. No, I could actually get right over there.
Even your stumpy legs could get you over there.
God, fucking
Stompy legs. That sounds like a good name.
Right, let's go over there and give him an old taparoo.
Yeah,
Hammer, meet wood.
You give him a tap, and his body just kind of squishes underneath the hammer against the ground, and it cracks down the middle, and it stops moving. You get the impression you killed it.
Knock, knock.
Yeah.
What? Open up the door.
No, he meant because it's wood. And Daniel, please. I mean, no.
was moved to your channel.
It's Okay, log in.
What?
He's here.
He's a witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adrik, put it
Yeah.
down.
That frickin'.
Alright, I'm gonna hit the one on the right.
The frickin'.
And then try again.
Welcome back.
Okay, the one on the
We're
right,
fighting some sticks.
you manage to smack it with the butt of your halberd as it ducks the first blow, and yeah, unfortunately it ducks straight into the butt of your halberd, and poof, you crack its face open, and it dies.
I'm gonna move to that.
Okay,
Not
finally.
tactical positioning at all.
Finally, something actually gets to have a go, and it moves up to there, to where Adrik is, and it's gonna claw at him,
Hit me, you bastard.
and
There
it doesn't. Are you retiring Robs now, Shade? Now you're here.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll get the fuck out of here and.
Watch the
Thank
stream.
you, buddy.
Watch the stream or not?
Nah, I'm probably just gonna sleep and I don't know. Someone can tell me about it some other time.
Am I missing
Sounds
anything,
good.
buddy? Or
You
Like,
set
no.
fire to 2 rooms.
I mean, that was a prudent move.
They
when
were
the-
potentially full of twig blights, so I mean, they didn't get attacked after searching for them and collecting
Prudent
cooking
move.
ingredients.
no?
But-
I was meaning, am I missing any spells? Am I missing
No,
any HP?
no spells have been used. You haven't been hit yet, and
You've only been
good.
sacred flaming.
Boom.
Well, Sacred Flame and Warhammer.
Love you, buddy. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank
Well,
you,
You're the
Robs.
greatest.
I
Thanks,
don't
Rob.
Take
love
care.
you, and you owe me £200 for the work I put in.
That's what the
Yeah,
agreed
we'll
price
talk
was.
about- we'll talk
plus
about it.
that.
We appreciate the standing.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
Right.
Like I say, you're at the front of the
bastards.
queue. If you want to join one of my campaigns at some point, I will let you know.
all right. Thanks, man. Well, see you guys.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
User
So that
disconnected
twig
from your
blight
channel.
horribly misses. The next twig blight deciding it's going to decide that it doesn't like Daniel, and it's going to get to about there and continue onwards and claw at you aggressively in a kind of slicey fashion. Okay. Erky's like gonna poke his head around this door, and he's thinking, what I don't really like what I can see in there. Well, I might as well do a bit of this. And he fires a sacred flame at the far
Ooh.
twig, which is
What, not the one that's right in front of him?
No, that's behind the door kind of thing. He's like shooting the one. Daniel's got that one covered. It's absolutely fine. The twig blight tries desperately to dodge out the way. Unfortunately, it doesn't, and the searing heat from the flame burns it away into charcoal. And yeah, like he's gonna kind of stay there for a bit. Okay, Callie,
No.
back to you again.
For radiant
Right.
damage, I really like it thinking that it's actually just radiation, so you're actually dosing it with like a dose of gamma rays.
What the fuck, man?
And-
It's not a fucking
just-
phaser. Oh wow, which one are you blasting? The one that was the one furthest away. Okay, yeah, you hit that thing and shatter it with the force of the spell. It's bones. It's bony wooden bits scattering across the far wall, clattering down.
There we go. That's about it.
Orkon, you've
Uh,
got very few targets now. You've gone from being surrounded to kind of not having much to do.
The one by Adrik's still there, right?
Adrik,
No,
no,
that's dead.
it's gone.
Oh,
There's
that was
only
the one
one
that
by
got-
Daniel. That's the only one that's
got
left at the
murdered.
moment.
Right, well, I for some reason still see it, but all right, I'll move up and see about helping Daniel.
Okay.
Assuming I think maybe my thingamajigs needs to be. Yeah, I'm not getting. It's not responding to me, so I'm gonna.
I can see that you've moved down to one square lower
Yeah,
than
you've definitely
Adrik.
moved on our screens.
Okay, I was not moving at all, and nothing had changed.
Did
here,
we start
so-
late this evening?
A little bit. Well, half an hour later.
All right.
Hopefully, I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, while he's coming back, quick catch up.
Okay,
as fast
basically,
as you can.
okay, you got down to this floor. The first room you found a load of skeletons gardening. You attacked the skeletons, some twig blights appeared, everyone destroyed everything. Then you went north, found a cave with a bugbear that had 2 trained rats. He wanted to cook you. Instead, you gutted him and his rats. Someone from across the room spotted the treasure that Niacin missed by manually searching. They had a load of money in a box. You also found a tunnel that goes further into probably what you see is the Underdark. You then found some little experimental laboratory full of herbal things and wine making and various other goblins. You
We
killed all
found the Goblin Brewery.
Awesome.
You have 2 barrels of goblin wine.
Yeah,
I
they're
will
waiting
drink
for
that.
you in the main room.
Yeah,
That will get drunk.
two gallons, basically 2 barrels a gallon each of goblin wine. It doesn't smell awful, but you know it's still goblin wine. You found various herbal stuff. Niacin ended up finding enough to put together a healer's kit and a herbalism kit. You then found a load of arboretums and hallways and stuff that you can see now with the round rooms. 2 of them got set fire to by you because you heard a sound. The second one you just set fire to for the laugh. And then you went up
Adrik.
You also, the bottom room, you found some goblins that you questioned, and they said Belix to the north, and you just closed the door. And Callie was really, really, really polite about it. I thought she was wonderful, actually.
And so far, Daniel's taken most of the damage.
And Daniel's really been very
Fabulous.
tanky, which was basically what you said at the end of the last session anyway, that you were going to let Daniel do a little bit more leading, so it's worked out quite well. You finally got into this room. It's full of the glowing fungus. A load of twig blights suddenly appeared as Orkon failed to sneak around too much, and you basically more or less dispatched them.
Fantastic. One
Right,
thing
I'm
is,
back,
though,
by the way.
as we travel backwards, you're going to have to point out which way we've been and which way we've not, because Robbie's map, as he's moved around Adrik,
Ha-ha!
has filled out, as, unfortunately, from my map, I have only seen this room, technically.
Oh god, okay.
Yeah, I had that problem when I logged in.
Anywho,
As
Can
Adrik
I,
teleports about. Thank
attack
you.
and do I get
Yes.
advantage on this?
If you're flanking, then absolutely.
Oh-ha!
Yeah, you hit it, and you shattered the poor little thing.
Alright, cool.
It's a blight, it's not a poor little thing.
Those things
Disgusting
aren't
creature.
particularly strong.
I hate gardening.
It's coarse and irritating.
Like sand. So there is a door to our left here.
Right,
Thank you.
Callie.
Thank you for the teleportation, Mel.
I'm just going nuts for it. I've revealed more stuff inside a wall that you didn't need to see, but
That's meh. That doesn't bother me.
Yes, Niacin?
Do you remember that rat you asked me to collect?
Yes.
I killed it, and I've wrapped it in, some herbs I found over there. Here it is. I hand it
Oh,
to you.
thank you. Thank you very much. I'll put that in my equipment for now.
So there's a halfling carrying a giant rat that's
it's a
probably about the
disease.
same
It's
size.
a disease. rat.
Disease, like
Yeah.
full of warts and growths of
They're
fungus.
like-
Actually, wait. Is it about the size of me?
It's a well, technically giant rats. How big are giant rats? Are they small creatures or are they medium creatures?
Small.
Let's have a look.
They are small creatures, I think. Yeah, because you're the one.
So's a halfling. though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 3 foot tall. So...
Yeah, this giant rat is about as big as you are. It's about as heavy.
Okay,
as
maybe
you.
I'm not gonna put it in my fucking pocket then.
I mean, it could put you in its pocket.
Right.
I can
I'm gonna
take it
quickly
back to
invest-
the wheelbarrow if you want.
I'm just gonna do a quick sort of investigation and like Arcana nature
So I guess the
on
twiglet
it.
dies then.
It does.
Cool.
So what are
Do
you
any
doing
of
all
those
this
help
for?
me I'm looking at this dead rat.
Okay.
Name was
Okay, it's
Seymour?
definitely got some kind of disease. I mean, you can tell that from all the warts and boils, but they certainly look odd. They don't look normal. You don't think it's necessarily anything magical to decipher from this, but there's definitely something odd about it. From the way that you found it strapped down to the table and still alive, you're gathering that it was an experiment of some sort, but you don't know what the experiment was all about.
Thank you very much, Niacin. Would you object to putting it on this table right over there? And if we've got time later, I'll look at it then.
Right then, guys, what are you doing? What are you up to?
So wait,
I
there's
assume this is
the
a
door
table,
to our
not
left.
like a chest of drawers.
The table is a crude table. It's got a lower platform, a bit like the operating table that you found, the strap-down table. So yes, there's a bit underneath that you can slide it in, but there's no enclosed cupboards or drawers.
Okay. Is there anything on the bumper?
And there's various gardening implements. There's some cuttings from various herbs. Nothing that you recognise as being particularly useful.
Cool. I'll dump all that shit out and put the rat there.
Okay. So there's a diseased dead rat on the table.
Well, under the table, but
Under the table, yeah. On the lower platform, yeah. Okay. Now what?
So, Adrik, want to kick this one?
And please don't set fire to this room. I think this is going to be our only way back.
Look, boys, I'm sorry I've been a bit strange over the last part of this nasty little grove that we're calling it, but Adrik is back. He's feeling warmed up and ready to go. So, are we stealthing or are we going loud?
Well, stealthing didn't work so well in this room. Let's
Wonderful. Kick.
Okay. You see beyond the door a hallway that kind of goes back the way you came, and what looks like a larger room up ahead.
Daniel, there's more than enough room for the two of us to squeeze down this path. Come on, let's take the lead.
Okay, as you enter this room, you see that there is a huge dragon carved out of granite blocks. And also, dragons seem to be carved around the walls as well, although much smaller and less impressive than the huge statue. It would have been a very cool, accurate, well-made statue back in the day, but time, like most of the things in this entire place, have worn it down, so it's less impressive. It casts a big shadow over the area around it. You also see a platform, a little plate. It's really obvious in front of it. You don't know if it's a pressure plate or just a platform. It's slightly raised. It's slightly different stone. Don't know really what the purpose of that is. Does anybody know Draconic? No.
Seriously, what is it with this place in Dragon?
Because, dragons.
That was just in character.
Honestly, buddy, I have not a fucking clue. But I want to go and stand on the pressure plate.
Ooh, we should do that.
It sounds
No,
like a
I mean, go
crazy,
for it.
fantastic idea. Let's do it.
Ooh, there's a door, boys.
There is a door.
Can I kick the door? I want to kick the door. Or
Let's
we stand
poke the
on
pressure plate first, Adrik.
Urki pipes up. Urki pipes up, and he looks at the inscription that's on there, and he spends a moment studying it, and he mutters something in Draconic as he reads it, because you've heard the kobolds speak Draconic when they were like dying under your blades and hammers, and he then says in Common, well, let the sorcerer's power illuminate my spirit. That's a curious phrase.
Sorceress power.
Let the sorcerer's power illuminate my spirit. That's what it says right there. And he points at the inscription.
Can I chuck one of my torches that's lit up with the glowing fungus onto the pressure plate?
Yeah.
He beat me to it.
You Eldritch Blast what? The statue?
Yeah, the plaque. Or
Okay.
Eldritch Blast the pressure plate. That's
Okay, you Eldritch Blast the floor and it scorches a hit on the floor. If a bit of dust gets kicked up, but otherwise nothing happens. You place a torch, Niacin, on the pressure plate. Is that what you wanted to do? No, I call it a pressure plate. You don't know what it is. It doesn't seem to move down. And nothing seems to happen at all.
Well, I'm out of ideas.
Well, I like
sorceress power. Okay, well, you light up and then jump on it.
I will cast light on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I will stand on the pressure plate. Oop.
Okay. At this point, you realise it definitely isn't a pressure plate because it doesn't move an inch. It's clearly just a plinthy kind of plate whatever your reason, you don't know why it's in front of the dragon. You cast light on yourself, you're glowing nice and brightly. Nothing happens.
Maybe we need to cast light on it?
Maybe you glow already too much.
I pick up the torch and throw it at the dragon statue.
It
What,
bounces
again?
off.
Yes. No, I threw it at the plate before.
Yeah, it hits the statue and it clatters down onto the ground, doesn't do anything.
Okay, what did it say?
I'm out of ideas again.
Urki replies and says, "Let the sorcerer's power illuminate my spirit." But
Well,
it says it's
probably
in
not a whole lot we
Draconic.
can do unless we've got a sorcerer in them. Unless anybody has some sort of hidden talent.
Unless we
Just
have,
open this next
some
door.
kind of never-ending flame light that doesn't ever seem to go out.
Like a
yes,
candle?
there is that. Why don't I go ahead and put that? Is there any place for me to place the candle
Yeah,
on the dragon?
yeah. There's the platform, the base that it's stood on. It's dead easy.
Oh, sure. I'll go ahead and just put that down there.
Okay, you put it down there and nothing seems to happen. Okay.
Nice shot. But...
As you
oh
kind
well.
of looking at the dragon, give me an investigation roll as you're sort of stooped down near the dragon statue.
Guidance?
Sure thing. Yep. Well, I'm out of ideas.
It's the dragon.
That's not pretty.
I'm gonna look behind it.
Yep, it's definitely a dragon, guys.
Okay, you don't see anything behind it, but give me a perception roll.
I lost my character sheet.
Don't lose your character sheet. Damn it, man.
It's better than
Character's
losing my
dead
character.
now.
Perception, you said.
Jesus.
Okay, yeah, you don't see anything.
We ain't seen
it's
shit.
it's a statue.
What you looking at, nice?
No idea. I'm trying to figure out.
Give me a perception roll, Adrik, you fucking fuck. And Daniel, from the looks of it, you don't see shit, Adrik.
my
You
first
don't
roll
even see the floor,
of
and
the
for a
day.
moment you think you're flying in space. You guys are fucking blind. There's nothing behind the
Jesus
statue.
shit. Okay. I kicked down the door. Enough looking at the same fucking statue for 20 minutes. I kicked down the door.
You kick open the door, and beyond you see an old, decayed library.
Ooh.
I've heard of
There's
these books things.
Yeah, well, yeah, these are not good examples. Really not. It's basically broken bookshelves. They're mostly stone, but they're all cracked. Some of them have collapsed. There's lots and lots of bits of torn and burnt pages, but most of the books have molded away to basically nothing. There's piles of crap. None of it is of any significance. But give me a perception roll. Anyone who goes into the room, give me a perception roll.
Sure. Wow.
Guidance.
You don't necessarily know to give guidance for this because it's just randomly noticing things. You don't need guidance. You, Callie, immediately be like, oh, over in this corner, underneath all these tatty scrolls, there's actually some scrolls that look like they're pretty cool actually. And you find 2 scrolls that are looking pretty good shape actually, and you get the feel from picking them up that they're magical in some way. So could you put down in the party loot, unless you have some means of reading? If someone's got proficiency in Arcana, they might be able to decipher them.
I've got Arcana proficiency.
Give me a roll.
Same here.
Guidance?
Now you can give guidance.
Guidance! You'll need it.
Would you?
You
like
don't
to
know
help
what
with
the
that?
scrolls say. You don't know what the scrolls say.
Well,
May I?
I'm out of ideas.
Are
guys.
they
You're
more
pretty sure they're
religious
magic.
scrolls?
You think they're not religious. You think they're arcane scrolls. But other than that, just
May
put
I?
them down in the. Yeah, go for it. You give us an Arcana roll.
Never mind.
You haven't got a clue. You think that they're like arcane scrolls. Put them on the party loot as 2 arcane scrolls.
Yep, I've just put them in there.
Dragon library.
I'm going to say,
Hmm?
ladies and gents, I have just come up with a cunning idea. But it does mean we have to sit still for just 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone got any objections?
What is
I'm
it?
good for sitting
Can
still
you
for a
just tell
moment.
us what your idea is?
I can cast special magics that will help me understand what the fuck's going on with the dragon statue and your scrolls.
Now, if we're going to be sitting around, I wouldn't mind sitting around for a tad long.
An hour. We'll take a wee hour's break. Let me
Yeah.
take time to study the scrolls on this dragon statue a bit more.
Okay.
Sounds like a grand idea.
While Daniel puts his feet up and I don't know, clips his nails or whatever he does for an hour, and spends a hit dice probably healing or something. I don't know.
Just gonna go sit on this bloody platform.
Cool. You continue to be like, Callie's like, you know what? There's got to be something else here. And you also find, based on that perception roll, you find a book underneath that's positioned in a load of other mouldering books. You only just spot a glint. And
hey, Niacin, I found an example for you.
You find.
Check it out. This is what a book looks like.
It's really nice.
It's got a lot of white in it.
It's covered, and Daniel's not going to like this book. It looks like it's bound in scales.
Ooh.
Very small scales, kind of similar to the scales you found in the cage where the dragon used to live. But
I open it up.
Okay, you don't have a fucking clue what it says. But it is very good condition. It's bound very well. There's all kinds of sort of metal parts to it, to the bindings, and the inside is somehow pristine. It's sealed in such a way. You think this might be worth quite a bit, although you've no fucking clue what it says.
Well, I'm gonna go over to Urki, who seems to be able to read Draconic. I'm assuming since it's written like in a book that's bound by the scales of something that looks suspiciously Draconic, that maybe it's in Draconic.
Well, you think that it probably is, because although the writing style is slightly different, it does look quite similar to the runes, as it were, on the statue, which you know is Draconic. So you're starting to get an impression that it might well be Draconic. Urki takes the book.
Urki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
can you understand what this says?
Oh, let me have a look there. And he sits down on the floor, making himself even smaller. And he flicks through the back and said, "Oh, well, this is very interesting." And he flicks through the books and he looks down the writing, and he seems to be quite engrossed. "Oh, well, this is fascinating. It's basically it's a book about all sorts of dragon lore. Oh, it's describing all kinds of things. This is fabulous." And he seems quite engrossed with this thing.
Would you object to if I were to ask you to write the book out for us, transcribe it? Would that be too much of an imposition for you, Urki?
Oh my goodness, it would take a very long time, and I'd have to have a book of myself, of course, a book that I'd be able to transcribe it into. But this is a fabulous book. I mean, the way it's bound as well. This is a fantastic find.
Well, thank you very much for praising it, Urki.
Oh, I mean, if it's not too much of an impose, I'd love to carry on reading it. You know, when we're resting and things like that, it's very interesting.
Actually.
Certainly. I mean, not that anyone else here can read it. I'm afraid that after our time together is over, we'll have to establish then who owns the book. But in the meantime, I see no reason why you couldn't keep reading it. Does anyone else object to Urki reading the book, seeing as he appears to be able to read this strange language?
Not
Go ahead and read
problem,
it.
Urki.
Just
don't let it drive you mad, okay?
Yeah, knock yourself out. Just get away from me.
You and your fucking scale issues.
So,
okay,
I'm gonna go in here and marvel at books.
I'm taking 10 minutes to draw a nice wee circle on the ground and pop my holy symbol in the middle and sit down and pray to it.
Okay.
You just mumble detect magic or identify for like this solid 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
As I stand back up, I'm like,
Okay. Right. Well, after the 10 minutes has passed, and your god's finally happy that you're not casting guidance at every opportunity, actually casting something that takes a bit longer, and he can then attend to his other duties instead of fucking holding your hand at every mundane action. You finish the spell, and the statue begins to glow in an aura of magic. And the tile on the ground as well, also. Both seem to have an aura of transmutation.
right then. Callie!
Hey, you made them glow.
You can't see them glowing.
Oh, okay.
It's purely the person that casts the spell.
Just me.
Never mind.
I'm going to point out to Callie and Orkon and be like, ladies, well, Lady and Orkon.
That's even worse.
I'm
Close
very
enough.
unsure. Right, I'm gonna now point them to all the glowy bits and be like, "This is glowing, and it's transmutation. Can you notice anything about this?" And point it out and guidance both of them.
Right. So investigation arcana.
You've just pointed out that the thing that Daniel's lying on is magical.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't even need
he's
to give me
gonna
any
move quite
rolls.
quickly.
Okay, you examine the magical statue and you examine the magical tile, and they are a statue that is apparently magical and a tile that is apparently magical.
Well,
Yep,
I'll let them
you're
know that
entirely
it's,
right.
it's transmutation magic, and if they can see anything else,
There's
like,
nothing
now that
there
they
to
know.
see. Yeah,
I'm
there's-
not the one here who can see magic at the moment.
That's true.
Adrik.
I just sort of look at these things and just shrug.
Can I
It's-
have your scrolls actually? Pass me
Certainly.
scrolls.
I pass him the scrolls.
I open them out and read them, and well, not read them out and use them, but kind of detect their magic.
He's just like
Okay.
looking through them like a newspaper.
You believe that they are evocation magic.
Ooh, evocation. These make things go boom, boys.
I don't know what they
Arcana
are.
check?
Give me an Arcana check if you're proficient. Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna have to ask for. He's got to be proficient. Something like this.
No.
Yeah, I do that. You see, gotta have some training. You can't just instinctively know.
Do you know what the funny thing is?
Yeah.
Is I don't even have Arcana on my skills list.
What the fuck? What have you done to it?
No, it's actually a Roll20 thing that sometimes
Sometimes
when
it
you
loses a
generate
skill.
it doesn't generate all the skills
Lol.
properly. So I
Weird.
actually don't even have Arcana.
Well,
Oh,
sucks
wow.
to be you.
I know, they're evocation, so use them and point them towards bad guys. I'm pretty certain you'll work
Cool.
out what they do when you point them.
Good to know.
Wonderful. But I will take
Healing
my
is
time.
evocation as well, but you know.
I will. Yeah, that's true. But I will donder round the dragon and have a now studied look with its now magical essence.
Okay, it's still the statue is magical. The thing that it stood on is not. There's nothing more to see.
I stand on the
look over.
pressure plate.
Okay, well, it's not a pressure plate, it's a tile, but yeah, go on.
I stand on the tile and I sacred flame the dragon.
Okay, the dragon seems unimpressed either way.
Can I give a little bit of a listen on this door to hear if there's anything on the other side of it?
You don't hear anything. Complete silence.
Alright.
After that, my detect magic will go down. Oh, it's the book magic, actually. Okay,
No,
it's the book magic.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't glow.
Oh, well, that's it. Question: does Daniel glow?
Does Daniel glow?
Why?
I doubt it. Why would Daniel glow?
I don't know.
Because you were wondering if that armor you got from the hub.
Does Callie glow?
I suspect probably. I mean, actually,
Yep,
then again, people
probably.
are not magical, are they? Even if you know magic,
Oh
you're
no,
not
but I've
automatically
got
magical.
that sneaky warlock great old one bond thing that's probably like visible.
I don't think that actually is detect magicable. So unless
Oh,
you're carrying
nice.
a magic item, I don't think, or you have an active spell. In fact, actually, yeah, you probably are glowing magical because you've probably got that false life on.
Yep.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna be like, you're magical, and I'm gonna prod her. It's just.
It doesn't get through the false life probably. I don't know.
Foxxy, seriously, I haven't multiclassed yet.
I know.
Adrik, you should have a look at our friendship.
Friendship?
It's
Our
magic.
friendship. Yes.
I used to wonder what friendship could be.
I'm gonna
Adrik
dangle
has
my
no
druidic
idea.
focus in front of
Ooh.
Adrik and ask him
Ooh.
if that's magic.
What have you
It's
given
magical.
him?
His
I'm not
druidic
giving him
focus.
anything. I'm holding my focus up in front of him.
I don't think focuses are magical. I mean, arcane focuses
Did-
might be vaguely, but
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
why I'm
certain-
wondering now.
I'm pretty certain as long as I hold my necklace, I'm pretty certain it would go magical, technically.
yeah, I'm unsure about whether spellcaster focuses are technically magical or not. I mean, they're kind of special, but I don't think they're necessarily magical. But either way, I'll have to make a decision in my world as to whether or not they are. Okay,
Okay,
I've made a decision. They're
continue-
not. Ordinarily, they're not magical.
I continue to prod Callie. Like I'm like,
I pack my druidic focus away in a safe place.
Callie, that's a weird aura around you. Prod.
Yes, that's my god. That's my lord's blessing. It gives me vigor against opponents.
What is false life? What's goes false life?
Probably necromancy.
Actually,
which is not automatically evil. Fucking idiot.
It's just the school of magic.
No.
It's like one of the resurrection spells is necromancy.
It is necromancy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think they all
like
are.
Revivify is necromancy, and
yeah.
I do it.
Yeah, exactly. So
necromancy doesn't bother me all that much. It's the bad things that necromancy does, and I'm just gonna prod her, and I'm gonna be like, I've never seen a spell quite like this. Prod.
As I said, this is the gift that my powerful lord gives to me.
What happens
to
if I
work
hit
his
you harder?
will. I'm trying to rest, Adrik.
Oh.
All of them are having the conversation. I'm going to go step on the pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
Guessing nothing crazy happens, right?
Nope.
Like, give a shrug. Step off.
Fair enough.
See when we're not in a death-defying situation, can I, see what this thing does? Like, if I hit you harder.
Fine.
Cool.
Adrik's being weird.
I'm gonna stand back.
Adrik's never seen this spell before. Would like to point out, and his intelligence is 8.
Well, that's one thing him and Falstaff have in common.
He's not smart.
Not too hard, okay?
Alright, I won't. But later.
If you're letting him hit you, then you doesn't even need to do an attack roll.
Okay.
Does a damage.
No, we'll do it when just before we take a long rest or something.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so the 1 hour passes without any incident except Adrik threatening to punch people who are magical.
Let's go kick down a door before I get bored.
You mean you didn't already?
Kick. Ooh, the stairs. I like stairs. That means we're going down.
You are going down.
I'm going down.
Have we made it already to the... Oh, wow. Okay, well, let's go. We need to find Bellic, after all.
Take me, baby, one more time. Fuck, I'm back upstairs. I hate going upstairs. I'm fucking too short for going upstairs.
How did you think these were going down? They're huge.
They are going down, and then they go up again.
Yeah.
What?
They go underneath the other room.
They go underneath the other room.
Yes.
That's why he's like, fucking hate climbing up fucking stairs. Blasted fucking things. This is just a pain in my arse.
Orkon, not understanding architecture very well, is confused why he had to go down to go back up again.
I think that it's probably a fair comment.
Daniel, keep your eyes peeled. I don't trust this corridor. Guidance.
It does look sneaky.
Does.
Okay.
And obviously the tanks are going to stand in front, but can I make a perception check for
what are you
traps?
doing going so far in front?
He's just moving. I'm just keeping him ahead because I'm doing other things. I'm just
totally
spawning
not
all
setting
the
up
monsters.
anybody else at all.
No,
Yep.
I'm not spawning monsters at all.
Is there any traps, no?
You don't see anything.
I'm gonna stop here.
Okay.
And I'm gonna feel this stone wall.
Hmm.
Can I feel the heat from the other room?
It's warm. It is warm to the touch. It's not burning, but it is warm to the touch.
Daniel, there's a door here.
Okay, I think I found the other side of that wall that I was searching on earlier.
Orkon, see if you get this other side of me, and Callie, you get this side of me. Then we can, if I open the door, you guys can peek in and shoot things if they shoot me.
That's a good idea.
Cool. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, you gotta move on.
What are you? Oh, god damn it!
We're being trolls again.
So, aye.
I'll tell you what. I'll move him into the sodding room first.
I'm guessing you two are holding actions to attack bad things if they're
Yep.
through the door.
We've already made the whole thing of actually you can only hold action in combat. But if you manage to surprise someone, I'll let you have the surprise round. But there's no holding actions prior to combat.
In other words, kick the door down.
Kick the door down and it might surprise people. Okay, you kick the door down and there's nobody inside.
Well, that was underwhelming.
It was underwhelming. However, this looks like quite a nice room. It's clear to you that goblins don't go in here because it's not filthy in here. This looks like a study. There are various stuffs in here. The oddest thing about that is a very flat, even, smooth layer of soil covering the floor. But like, there's nothing planted in it. So it's like it's almost intentionally been put there. Wooden shelves have been put in there, lots of tomes and scrolls. The desk is quite roughly made, but it's functional.
Can we take everything?
Can you take everything?
Stuff away some soil with a boot. And
Disassemble the shelves.
Okay. First things first. You look under the soil, and it's only about an inch thick, and it's just stone on the ground, just like the rest of the place. It looks like the soil's been put down there for some reason. You're not sure.
Something.
Is it damp or dry?
It's like it's not particularly damp or dry. It's soil, like
So it's ever
soil.
so slightly loamy.
Yeah. Nothing particularly special.
Sticky, but not too sticky.
Yeah, it's not
little
squelchy.
crumbly.
It's crumbly, but it's not dry. Yeah, it's fairly
It's not
average.
been here
spring
that
soil.
long.
I'm going to plant some of the glowing moss in the soil.
There's actually quite a bit being cultivated and stuck around the walls in pots anyway. But yes, you can certainly plant some if you want. You have a little look because someone said take everything. I think it was a stupid dwarf. As you start looking at the scrolls and the books on the shelves, you realise that a lot of these are just records, endless notes about records of yields of crops, of flowering things, of things.
Boring.
Fuck's sake, man. Kick door boring. Well, I'm going to carry on explaining it because one player does not lead the party like that.
I'm still looking around.
It's true. Maybe they've got some hints on how these guys have these apples, if it's a crop yield.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, there's definitely notes about things to do with yields of growth. There are some notes in a book that's on the desk. However, you don't recognize it. Except
We don't.
Niacin.
Ah.
You
Well,
notice
Have a closer
that
look at this.
this book is written in Druidic.
Ah.
Dum-dum-dum.
I thought you said you couldn't read.
I didn't say I couldn't read.
Didn't know what a book
never
was.
You'd never seen a book before.
Yeah,
I
things could be
had
written on things other than books, like the statues. They've had writing all over them.
Or people.
Or people.
Yeah, you've been writing Warhammer-shaped symbols into their heads.
You know, I hadn't thought of it that way. You need to put, like, this side up on the end of your hammer or something like that.
In case of emergency, break skull with this, yeah. It's basically a record.
I'm gonna get written. Adrik was here.
Spelled W-U-Z, I hope.
As you read the book, you realise it makes no sense. Very quickly.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's in
Well,
Druidic,
it's like garbled.
but it's garbled. It's written quite neatly, but every page makes no sense. Like someone's just does not know how to write, and they're just randomly
somebody
writing.
took the linguist feat.
Dun dun dun. So
I
yes,
think
it
there's
is.
a code here in these pages. Everyone.
Hell, to everybody else, it's just squiggles.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
That's why
yeah,
I'm telling
Even
you.
less than language.
Yeah, the
If you
code is
think
that
it's if you think it's a code, Niacin, have guidance to see if you can work it out.
He has no applicable skills.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
Well,
anything
I
can
can't
do.
read it, so
Can you not?
actually, with Niacin's help, could we like attempt investigation rolls to try to figure this out?
So basically what you're saying is if Niacin reveals the secret language of the druids indirectly to you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's not gonna happen.
yeah.
Damn. Well,
None
it's
of
not
you
like
have
I
the
I can't
skills.
teach you to be a druid in the time that we have allocated to rescue the other
Pretty
adventurers.
much.
It
Is
will
it not
take
just
you
an investigation
years.
check to try and work out?
It's
No.
not as simple as rolling dice, man.
Okay, if he rolled a 20 on an investigation check, he'd fail.
All right. Okay.
because it's just none of you have any kind of understanding. I mean, obviously you all know as players that it's been encoded in some way, but it's like none of you have any kind of cryptography skill.
It's true. None of us took linguist.
So yeah,
I'm taking the book.
yeah. Feel free to take the book.
Only
I'm putting it in
Finch
my
were here.
inventory.
One thing that Eki actually notices is another tome. It's not as fabulously bound. It's quite a crudely bound thing, but again, it looks like it's written in Draconic, and he starts flicking through it. And yeah, he flicks through it and has a little look through, and he seems to be quite interested. Then it explodes.
What?
Explosive runes? No shit. Really?
I'm afraid so.
Darky dead?
Urky.
No.
This is why you don't go off and do things.
Yeah, he's picked up the runes, and it basically explodes in a 20-foot radius. Oh my god.
Really?
Fuck, that was a big roll.
We get dex saves for this, right?
Yeah, you get a dex save, but that's basically the entire room. Fuck. That was a harsh explosion.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank goodness. Okay, so
Daniel,
I'm taking
no.
half, right?
Yeah, you guys take half. Yes, that succeeds.
What was the save for it?
The explosion is the book that Urki picked up just explodes.
I dodge out the way. I do a somersault and a judo roll on the ground, and I protect the book that I just picked up.
We know that you've got false life, Callie. You're always.
Well, no. I just cast it again because I just
of course,
took 6
yes.
damage.
I understand what you're saying, so that you wanted to, in case suddenly or more things happen, we know exactly how much you get. Gotcha. The book is destroyed. Urki is thrown back against the wall. He's fine, but yeah, he didn't expect the book to just explode when he opened it. You hear noise coming from the south door. And
This is why I hate magic.
This is why you hate magic. And you can
All
hear
surprises.
movement, there's voices, they sound like goblin voices, and yeah, then we're going to have to wait till next
I
session.
stand. Next session.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, did I take damage?
Dun, dun, dun.
Did I make my dex slave? I didn't hear the number on that.
Your dex slave?
Dex slave.
Save.
Yeah, you make your save. It was only a 15.
Oh,
He has lots of slaves on his deck.
I just saved the name or. Jesus.
Roll on, my dex slaves! Yes!
We're finishing the session this early.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things I need to do. But I thought that was as good a moment to...
That was a
Tense
pretty good
moment.
moment to end on.
Yeah.
Yes. Kaboom!
Tune in next week.
Yes, tune in next week. I know.
For the thrilling conclusion where we all die.
Well, it's all pros and cons. You know, on the con side, yes, you wanted to get back into it, and I know that you only just really arrived in this session. But on the pro side, you'll get to level 3.
Ooh!
But do we get the level up because we have now taken a long rest?
Yes, because you technically had the long rest earlier, I've decided. Well, no, you've had a short rest, but yes, it's a rest long enough.
Long enough. That's good enough for me.
Because ultimately, all levels is that you've been doing the stuff that you do, and you've gotten better at it. That happens all the time. You don't wake up and suddenly be like, oh, I had a dream, a vision, and suddenly I can do all these new things spontaneously overnight. No, it's a gradual.
Isn't that
thing.
how it works?
No, afraid not.
Yeah, isn't there like light that comes from the ceiling and highlights you and goes, oh?
Oh.
And there's a little ding noise and everything.
Ding!
And a little green arrow rising above your head.
Yeah, and then you have to click on it, and then you get to choose lots of upgrades. No.
Yeah, that's the one. And then Skyrim noises, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or whatever. So yes.
Is there a session next week?
Unfortunately, this will probably be...
Ah.
Our last session for the year.
Depends. No, it is unfortunately going to have to be the last session of this year, probably.
Bloody
Sorry.
Bah humbug.
Humbug.
It's fine.
Oh,
I might
hopefully
be
by
able
then
to
I'll
do the
be,
third.
I'll be fully caught up in my sleep
I
finally.
mean, it really depends. It's up. It's up to you guys. Look, listen. If you guys really want to do a session On which day is it? On the 20th. Okay, is there anybody who doesn't want to do the 20th?
I think that's
or can't.
Going to be a problem. It's not that I can't, it's just really tight.
Okay, cool. We're not doing a session on the 20th then.
Okay.
Cool.
I figured that it probably would be. The 3rd, who can't do the 3rd or is unwilling to do the 3rd or whatever?
I am unable to do the 3rd.
Okay, anybody else?
Rats. I can totally do the 3rd.
Okay.
I'm good pretty much whenever.
Oh, actually, can I do the 8th? I'm not sure I could do the 8th. Fuck. Let me check my flights.
The 8th?
Wiz, why you do this?
Wiz, why are you cursed?
Also, the 8th is
a Monday.
Yeah, that's not this. That's the next one would be the 10th.
Which I can't do.
Sorry. No, then I'm fine.
So it looks like if we're not thirding it, I can't do on the 10th, and I don't think you guys should be allowed to do a session without me somehow. It looks like the next one might be
so much fun. Think of all the trouble we'd get into.
So what, the 17th? That's the next
17th looks like it might be the next session.
Saints hacking live. Okay, we got some downtime.
Yeah, I will see about the 3rd, but I might not be able to do it.
You can't? No, the 3rd isn't happening.
3rd is out.
They're definitely not happening. Okay,
definitely not happening.
I'm not doing the 3rd. There's no way I could do it.
I'm apparently working 1 till 10 on the 3rd, so...
That's fine. So basically, that's it. We're only going to have another session on the 17th. Wow.
Holly's
well, that
next
gives us plenty of time.
Yeah. Now, if you're picking... I'll have to make a decision on... Because 3rd level can be a big level for some. As far as certain skills go.
Not really.
It can be. Not for you, because you're technically not even 2nd level in anything. What was that?
Maneuvers.
I would say for the most part, I mean, you're pretty much free to... Because the thing is, you've always been training and practicing on doing whatever it is that you're doing. So even if you have an archetype that you're picking, you would have been training toward that end anyway. You know, this is the accumulation of lots and lots of training that you've had, and it's all suddenly coming to light. So yeah, if you guys want to go up, is there anybody who's likely to be doing a multi-classy thing? Because that's the only bit where I'm going to be like, you can't really, unless someone's picking sorcerer as a multi-class, and they suddenly realize, oh my god, I could do magic.
Yeah, I will be, but not this level.
then yeah, you're limited. Was there anybody wanting to do multi-classing as for their 3rd level?
Not yet, no.
Could totally multi-class into Bard.
Well,
it would actually suit Adrik
actually,
a little bit.
It really would suit
well,
Adrik.
unfortunately, you can't, because you'll need to find a trainer, and even party members who happen to be something would not necessarily know how to train you, because training is
the fact you actually have the 13 charisma required.
Yes.
I do think I have the 13 charisma required.
But either way,
I actually am proficient in charisma saves because a cleric
do you have
is wisdom and
13 charisma, though? There's the question.
Exactly.
Weird.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, either way, so everybody feel free to level up to 3rd level. You've got over a month to sort that shit out. If you want some help with that, then let me know. If anyone has any questions, what I'll do is I'll wrap up the stream now, and we'll sit there, and then if anybody's got any questions, then we can do that then. But yeah, until then, thank you everybody for watching. Sorry it was a bit of a shorter session, and that sorry goes out to the watchers and the players. I know, but you were fucking not here for the first part of it anyway, so you got no excuses. So yes, cheerio everybody.
Cheerio.